do a begathon where tip me and do this and do that. We're not doing that. It's business as usual here on DSP Gaming. We play games, we have fun. If you guys like it, you support it. The week is going slow. Tough through it. So how are you doing? This is how I'm doing. Tips very low now. But I've noticed tips very low right now. The week is going slow. It gets to me. My life is ruined. This is how I'm doing. The losers out there who thinks that they know shit, kiss my fucking ass and eat my right now. A full podcast booked, full gameplay streams booked. Everything's booked. Everything's booked. Can't do anything crazy. And I don't even have enough to buy groceries. It sucks. The week is going slow. Tough through it. So how are you doing? This is how I'm doing. Tips very low now. But I've noticed tips very low right now. The week is going slow. It gets to me. My life is ruined. This is how I'm doing. The losers out there who thinks that they know shit, kiss my fucking ass and eat my right now. So how are you doing? This is how I'm doing. So how are you doing? This is how I'm doing. So how are you doing? This is how I'm doing. So how are you doing? This is how I'm doing.
This year I spent an insane amount of money. I bought a brand new mouse and keyboard, new lap desk, really good quality, name brand, wrist rests. Have you seen my visual feast of RGBs for my two PCs? And it all syncs perfectly, which is really neat.
I'm living, king dream, dual streaming. I'm the king of crushing goals and belt controls. Probably see me go. With my success, don't need all that. I'm having upsurgence.
Blacked out curtains, Elgato foam. I have 4 boom arms and a brand new microphone. Primo webcam, the Elgato Stream Deck. As you can see, RGBs powered by SkyTech. I got a new crown, a crown that fits, and Vicker's final chip. Oh, it dropped it. Oh, lickety split. Samsung SSD that was just donated to me. NVMe 2 instead of NVMe 3, whatever that means.
I'm living, king dream, dual streaming. I'm the king of crushing goals and belt controls. Probably see me go. With my success, don't need all that. I'm having upsurgence.
Again, guys, I'm living in this reality that people like me now and want to support my stuff. It's hard for me to accept it and think that it's real.
I'm 5 days gone from streaming and it's caused a bit of fuss. There's no end of speculation as to what the reason was. Did I take this sudden little absence cause me parents bit the dust? Or is Comcast being a detractor as I've previously discussed? Am I on the run from taxmen or some other agency? Was I whisked away for study to a distant galaxy? Or has Tevin now decided that it's time to murder me? Or perhaps I'm being haunted by the vengeful ghost of T? Did the demons in the corners seize the center of me mind? Did I have a mental breakdown and just leave it all behind? Am I walking on the freeway where I never dared to drive, with a plaintive thumb extended cause I'd really like a ride? I'm not sure why I'm British now, and I'm 6 goals behind. But if I don't hit another one, I'm not sure that I mind. Look, there's the sun. See it shine. So I waddle down the freeway and me cares are nearly gone. No one here knows that I had a wank but left the camera on. Then a lorry pulls up to me and asks where I'm trying to go. And it's only then I realise that I don't rightly know. I could double back to Renton to me mum, I mean me wife. I could bring her consolation so she won't fear for me life. But the opposite direction surely seems to tantalise. I could keep on pressing eastward and just leave it all behind. So I tell the lorry man I'm heading east and far away. He just shrugs and makes room for me and we're off with no delay. Though I'm sure the view is lovely, I can't see a thing because as he's driving I repay him by the road's unwritten laws. He probably should just take it slow. I hear a screech, then I am out cold. The one thing that's important above everything else is to get away from everyone who knows I touched myself while I was streaming. I must say, I guess that's the positive if I should die today. He won't know. They won't know. I said hello. I've learned that life can have meaning when you're 5 days gone from streaming.
Thank you all for showing up to the Saturday morning Style Atlas stream once again. I hope you're all doing well and you're also living the Keem dream. I hope you're ready to come back from your 5 days, or rather 6 days from being on this stream. Hopefully you had a good week. As always, we're gonna start with the Atlas style segment and just get that out of the way, the unimportant stuff, of course. I've been playing Minecraft. Don't ask. I'm not showing you builds yet. Maybe one day. I'm working really hard, okay? But I'm not showing builds yet. And I was selected for jury duty, so that's pretty cool. I can't wait to go deal with the government. That's gonna be awesome, guys. I'm so excited to go down to the courthouse and play pretend all day. It's gonna be sick. But as you guys know, I'm sure this week was DSP's uncertainty week. He was very worried about, I'm going to be honest, nothing. He was worried about nothing because some idiot had sent him an email completely gaslighting him into thinking that this was some sort of catastrophic event, that Comcast was going to shut off his internet for a day. They convinced him it was going to be like 6 weeks for some reason. That's jumping ahead a little bit. He also sucked at video games all week, which we are not gonna take a look at, but we will watch him complain about games, of course, as is usually the case with DSP. Let's go ahead and listen to that first, because apparently he's hurting himself now. This old man is too old, too decrepit, too fragile to be playing video games. They're just not making games for people his age anymore, and it really is a problem.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. Snort, snort, snort. Code.
Stream it, yeah. Well, like I told my fiance, my wife, they don't want me as a juror. I'm pretty much gonna tell them that I'm prejudiced against all dents, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a dented individual up there.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go.
And I will say this, all right, this week, we are trying out this new idea. There is a sub goal that you can set up over on Kick, and I'm trying to hit.
Jody Taint, I told my dad that was going to be the strat, that I was going to tell him that I am legit, that I am prejudiced one way or another, and he said that doesn't even work anymore. I don't know if that's true, but it's going to be my strat because I really don't want to go.
150 subs this week during my stream.
I'm going to try my best.
Because I lost something like over 200 subs recently. it was a bunch of gifted subs that expired. And we haven't had any major big events or things going on where people have really come by and dropped sub bombs at all. We've had a few subs here and there every day, which is great, but nothing, that would basically get us back those 200 lost subs. So,
right.
We had a goal of 150. As of last night, we just got 8 on the late stream last night.
So if you guys recall from last week, DSP's goal was to get 150 subs, because for some reason this arbitrary number on Kick of 200 subs that he's not had this month, because they all didn't get renewed because they were all gifted. Imagine that. For some reason, it is absolutely vital to DSP's ego, or maybe his business, I'm not sure, that he get these 200 subs. He's completely gonna go bankrupt if he doesn't receive these subs, I guess.
Because we just started.
He was really pushing it this week for obviously no actual reward for anybody that might actually send the money. Kick was not going to get anything special, no sort of special content other than the normal DSP tries it bullshit that nobody cares for, which I also don't have a clip of, but was a problem for DSP. It didn't go well. We'll get there when we get there.
We just got another one, so now we're up to 9. Okay? Let's go over on Kick. Let's get some subs going today on Kick. Let's get that momentum rolling. Let's see if we can hit that goal by the end of Wednesday, because that's my streaming week. It's now through Wednesday, okay? 4 more days. Okay. So we're going to chill.
Dr. Detractor is saying that he needs to maintain a set level of subs to gain money per hour per viewer from Kick. Is that true? If you don't have the set amount of subs, do they take back the money per hour partnership style thing that he's got going on there? Is that true? I don't know. I'm not that familiar with Kick in that capacity.
Noonish, and then we're going to start with a full stream of Silksong. Man, I hope that today we have a day of exploration and fun, and not the pain that I had last night. For those who don't know, so last night we were playing Silksong, and I was exploring the Sinner's Road, but I kind of ran into a problem where I couldn't find the map, and because of that, I kept branching off to different paths and getting lost.
Right.
And not knowing where I was going, then I would die, and I'd have to try to backtrack, and I get lost again in another direction.
Which is pretty standard for a Metroidvania. I'm not a big Metroidvania player myself. Never really been my genre. But from what I know, getting lost and dying when you're lost, and then finding new areas and new secrets using your abilities and just kind of wandering around and exploring is a Metroidvania. That's how those games play out, like casually. If you genuinely play them with no huff holding, no chat telling you where to go or this, that, or the other, that is just the experience, and that's what we're complaining about right now.
And then I found another area, the mist, and people are like, just stop going. For now, what you should be doing is you should be doing the blasted, what's it called? The blasted plain? No, the blasted cliffs, whatever it's called. You should go do that.
And that's exactly what I mean, is he can't even explore the game and genuinely find things for himself without the chat telling him that he's supposed to be here or there, that he's not supposed to be fighting this boss right now, that he should go and get this item because it's going to make it easier. But then he has the audacity to tell people that he beats all of these difficult games, that all these games that all the detractors and trolls say that he'll never be able to beat because he's bad at video games. He beats them all, you guys. This is something he just said yesterday. And this is why. It's because he gets handheld the entire time. It's because he doesn't experience any game like a real person. He's not a real boy.
Leads you to the next part of the game. And I was like, well, okay, I guess, but that means that we're going to miss these areas, right? So Blasted Steps. That's what it was called, the Blasted Steps. Thank you, I stand with Phil. So we went back there, and the Blasted Steps themselves weren't bad, but then there's a boss at the end called the Last Judge. And this boss is a humongous pain in the ass. Like, insanely huge pain in the ass. First of all, it's got 3 phases. Second of all, it's got such a variety of attacks. It's got 2 attacks that look exactly the same, but one hits you when you're close and one hits you when you're far, and you need to be able to get out of the way. Then the attacks change their properties via each phase.
Wait, I'm sorry. One of them hits you close, and then one of you one of them hits you far away. Is that what he's complaining about?
Like, insanely huge pain in the ass. First of all, it's got 3 phases.
Right.
Second of all, it's got such a variety of attacks. It's got 2 attacks that look exactly the same, but one hits you when you're close and one hits you when you're far, and you need to be able to get out of the way. Then
Right. Like, well, exactly, Navi. That's what I was just about to say. That sounds like a standard boss. The switch up attack is kind of, I would say, like a tried and true method for a boss attack. To have one that it's gonna psych you out and put you into a bad position because you thought it was gonna be close rather than far, or far rather than close. Like, that's just a boss, man. You just have to read it right. It's like playing a fucking fighting game. You have to guess low instead of high, and if you don't, fuck you. That's the dice you rolled today. You'd think he'd understand.
the attacks change their properties via each phase, so it's kind of like almost two different boss fights. It feels like at first you're fighting one boss, and then you're fighting a completely different boss after the fact. The problem with the boss actually isn't the boss. All right, the boss is cheap, don't get me wrong, but I've fought harder. You know, I've beaten all the FromSoft games.
Oh,
The
what a
problem
king.
with the boss
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the flexing that he likes to do. I've beaten other hard games, but in those difficult games, he also had his hoof held. He was also being guided by chat, and they were telling him what builds he should be doing and what was OP. This is exactly what I meant.
boss is that there isn't a crazy walk back to the boss from the save point, the bench.
Right.
It makes you do all this platforming over and over while also avoiding enemies. And the repetitive platforming is so bad, it actually hurt my hand. Like, it's one thing to do the platforming once or twice, then you're onto a new thing. But when you're doing the same motion over and over, this happens with people who have jobs where they have to do the same repetitive motor motions over and over. It's screwed.
Yeah, but you don't have a job, boss. This is a video game. You're playing video games on a controller. You're not doing thousands and thousands of hours of keyboard work or heaven forbid manual labor that is actually putting strain on your muscles. You're sitting completely stagnant using a controller as limp-wristed as possible.
Screws your muscles up, it screws your nerves up. I was doing this for about 45 minutes. My hand was throbbing by the end of the night. My whole arm was all in massive pain right here. My muscles were completely tense and my hand was numb.
That's not supposed to happen. This is the guy who's been bragging about being the fucking pinnacle of health for what, the last 2 weeks. We're gonna talk about all the weight that he's lost. We're gonna talk about all these exercises that he's doing, and he's mixing it up and working different muscle groups. But his entire arm is completely tense, and he has fucking like shooting pain or some shit because he's playing video games. And I'm supposed to believe that this guy is healthy. I'm supposed to believe that this guy's body is functioning and working as properly as possible because of his life changes. That's genuinely the narrative that he's pushing while complaining about his hand hurting from a fucking video game that other people have beaten, by the way. It's not like he's the first of his kind or in any capacity to play this game and get this far. People have already beaten this game, and I'm sure that they've already beaten it under a million, challenge prerequisites. So I don't know, man. This seems like a stretch. This seems like a personal issue. Like, it's not supposed to be this way.
And I'm like,
Is the background flashing, or are you insane? The background is flashing.
wow, they really
Don't have a
didn't
seizure. That's my
test
recommendation.
this part and ask anyone. Because if you did, anyone with a brain would have said, okay, I get it, but you got to do something to negate a little bit of this, because you're going to give people problems in their fucking hands. Like, this is crazy what you're doing here. So that was my problem with it. It wasn't the boss. It was the walk back to the boss was way too long and too repetitive. And by the way, a waste of time.
You could make this argument for a vast majority of FromSoft bosses as well. So I don't really think that Silksong is necessarily it's not necessarily worth pointing out explicitly in this capacity. There's no reason. It's just a normal game.
Not like
Stop.
it was a big deal or like you felt accomplished to do it. It's just annoying. Like, why are you wasting my time? And that's what I've been saying. With Silksong, I like the game's overall world and design. I like the combat. I like the exploration, the Metroidvania style. Okay, I like how I'm getting upgrades and weapons and builds. The one thing I don't like is that they purposefully have left out quality of life improvements that they've added to this style of game over the years to make the game harder, but it's not harder, it's just more annoying.
Like what?
There's a difference between challenge and levels of stress and annoyance. And
But the run up back to the boss fight, I don't think is an example of that. Like granted, I guess it would come down to the specific example that we're talking about, because some boss runs are actually unnecessary. But That is part of the challenge. If you can't do the run up and then also do the boss fight on top of it, like they might as well be one and the same in the overall picture. If you're not capable of dealing with that, then you're not good enough to beat the game, bro. That's like you're just getting filtered, and that's okay. Not every game is for everybody. That's fine.
They didn't find the balance here. What it is there's just parts that are just outright more annoying because they thought they were making it harder.
Yeah,
They're
the
not.
run back to the
It's
boss
not a
is your
challenge to
punishment.
redo
That's
that
exactly what it
platforming
is.
segment
Do it right. Be better. That's the solution.
45 times to kill this tough boss. It just hurts my hand. That's not fun. And someone should have interjected and said, stop. You know, okay, we get it. You want it to be a tough game, but at some point, be reasonable to the gamer. The game's incredibly long. You need to, like, have reason. And they didn't. Like, no one checked them. And that's bad. I'm being told there is one other boss walk in the game.
Okay, see, we're already talking about future boss walks that we're possibly going to be complaining about, and that we're going to need handheld through. This is the guiding that I'm talking about. Like, we're being preemptively warned about difficult sections so that we can throw a fucking baby bitch fit and cry and complain about how this game isn't made for fucking boomers like DSP. That's legitimately what we're doing here. This is the content, man.
That's
It's
worse than
embarrassing.
that one, and it's the worst in the game, and everyone complains about it. So you know I'm going to complain about it, but this is my problem. Like, my hand was killing me. Now, basically, now my hand is okay. But what's going
Thank
to happen
God.
if this
What were we going to do if his hand wasn't okay today? We probably would have just done a chill with Phil. I don't even know.
happens again today? Like, this is the problem with a game like this. You got to understand that not everyone is 20 years old who plays video games. Okay,
Hey?
and I'm not saying that I want the game to be piss easy accessible. I'm saying just be reasonable. And that part was not reasonable. So that's why I raged last night. Okay. The last judge is literally supposed to be a skill check for.
But it's completely subjective to say that it's not reasonable. Like I said, many people, and I'm sure some people older than DSP have already beaten this game and have not complained about their arthritis acting up in their arm and hand, like completely rendering them, you know, handicapped or whatever. I'm sure that there is plenty of people who have beaten the game and that's not been the case for them. But we're going to pretend as though all older style unk individuals are, they're all going to be subject to this torture. Crazy. Thank you, Orion, for the 5, saying, I'm the same age as Phil, and I've never had this problem with my hand or arm that he's complaining about. Well, I'm a fraction of DSP's age, and me either. That's what I'm fucking saying. Like, this is a uniquely individual problem that DSP has. This is completely on DSP, and this cannot be accounted for when making video games. There's just no way. If you start trying to account for things like this, if you try and make video games, I guess, accessible for people who have legitimate, like, muscle conditions, we might as well just not make fucking video games, because you're not going to make anything with any sort of challenge that is that's enjoyable to play. It's just not going to happen. You would just start banning a bunch of shit that old people can't do. All sports, dude, they don't make them for old people. Get them out of here. We're not allowed to do that anymore. Like, that's the world that DSP wants to live in, I guess. Thank you, Dragoon Sire, for the 2, saying sometimes you gotta say when in Rome. Well, this is true. Sometimes you just gotta ball out, and that's what they do in Rome, I think.
Act 2, it's both thematic and
When
by
you're in
design to
Rome,
prepare for
ball
tougher
the
bosses.
fuck out.
Again, the boss isn't what annoyed me. I'm being honest here. I get it. They wanted to have, like,
for the
okay,
2, of
almost like a
course.
false ending feeling, right? Because you thought, oh, you get to the Citadel, maybe that's the end of the game. So it almost felt like a false ending, and then, haha, here's the second half. I get it. And the boss itself, I'm not annoyed with. It was the walk. If there was no walk back to that boss, I wouldn't have had a single complaint. Yeah, I would have raged at the boss, but, you know, the problem is, dude, I'm fucking 43 years old. All right?
That is a problem. I agree, DSP. Maybe we shouldn't have made it this far.
Hand
Maybe we weren't
isn't what
cut
it used
for
to
life.
be.
I don't know.
like the game. I want to be able to play it. Why the fuck are you putting this annoyance thing in there that's fucking with my body? Like, stop.
It's
You know,
fucking
that's,
with
again,
my
it's not
body. But is this how he felt when he was playing fucking Street Fighter and he was talking about his eyes getting dry? Were we blaming Street Fighter because they weren't making the game for elderly people with dry eyes? Like, this is just such an absurd request. This is such a strange expectation from a fucking a guy playing video games to a dev team. That's so wild. And I seen it in chat earlier, and I'm going to mention it now because it definitely makes more sense this way. Please remember that this game, Silksong, was designed as an endgame DLC. The expectation is that you beat Hollow Knight, enjoyed it so much that you wanted to play an extension of that, and it was going to be endgame content. Of course, it's going to be more difficult. Of course you're gonna have issues with some of the platforming. It's supposed to actually be challenging. Of course the bosses are gonna have 3 phases, and they're gonna have attacks that you're gonna have to actually learn. Obviously that was all going to be the case if you knew anything about the fucking game. But DSP wants to pretend like every single game is supposed to be as easy as possible so that he struggles not at all during his streams and makes the maximum amount of money. And that's just not the case. Like I said, what an absurd ask.
Challenge. It's not like, oh, I overcame it. It's you're fucking hurting me for real. Like, can you have some like self-awareness and limitations to what you're putting in your game to say my gamers don't hurt themselves when they fucking play it? Like, it's dumb. They really should have had someone say, okay, that's enough. Stop.
If you're, I'm going to say this, and this might be gatekeeping. This might be kicking a lot of the elderly out of video games. But if you're hurting yourself when playing a video game, stop playing that game. Again, it's not for you. And maybe gaming isn't for you at that point. Like maybe it's time to start assessing what hobbies you can and can't do. If that's the situation that you're in, you know. I don't care if you like racing cars. If you can't sit in a car for an extended period of time, you don't blame racing. You just stop racing. It's pretty simple, actually. You can enjoy the hobby, the medium from a further distance, I suppose. You can go watch from the stands.
Have some reason. You know what I mean? And they didn't. Anyway, so I'm excited for today. I just hope that my hand holds out. I really do. And let's get you on the leaderboard. So now we have
what a weird
super
thing
chat.
to have
We
to
got a tip.
hope
We got a
for,
sub.
man.
We don't have a membership, but we don't have any kicks yet over on Kick. Kicks are the new way to support on Kick. They're the same as bits on Twitch. And I will do a shout out for 100-bit contributions. All right. Again, I have a goal that I set up for subs this week. I'm trying to get back to where I was on Kick because I lost a ton of subs on Kick over the last couple days when I was off.
Which, like I said, I don't think that there's any sort of requirement for him to hit these subs. This is pure ego. This is pure greed. He just wants all of your money, which is pretty standard around here.
I'm trying to get 150 subs by the end of Wednesday. So that includes all day today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all double stream day, so 8 streams. Can we make it happen? I would love that. I would love to be able to make that happen, and that would help a lot right now. So please, let's get some support via Kick today. Let's get some subs over on Kick today. All right. Good stuff.
Right now.
So for the record, yesterday I had the Little Caesars. It wasn't good, first off. Let me put it this way. Some of it was good. All right. The actual
Get it
dippers,
out.
or what were they called? Puffs. The puffs were good.
The puffs.
But the pizza was not. The pizza was quite disappointing compared to other Philly cheesesteak. Like, I think that
Oh, yeah, he had the Philly cheesesteak pizza, and his complaint was that Little Caesars didn't put enough high-quality steak on his pizza, you guys. Could you imagine the fast food chain that is Little Caesars, one of the cheapest, most low-quality pizzas that you can get? They weren't putting enough steak on his pizza? Huh? Can you believe it? Now, this is no shame on Little Caesars, of course. Very reliable place to get a cheap pizza when you're down bad, and you have to show it respect for that. But I definitely wouldn't go in expecting high-quality steak in a numerous amount. That's just not the case. I don't expect that out of Little Caesars. I think it's unfair to, in all honesty.
Domino's Philly cheesesteak that I had 20 years ago actually was better. So I didn't like the pizza, and it gave me gas. That's another thing. Last night I was playing Silk Song, trying to do this ultra hard platforming and kill this boss, and my guts were bloating with gas as I was doing it. Like, oh my god, man! It's like the double whammy of super hard part of the game.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't ever want to hear anybody talking about how they're bloated or they're gaseous or they've got inflammation. Like I have a weird. I don't think it's weird. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like to hear about other people's health conditions when it comes to their body swelling up or whatever the fuck. I think that's a weird thing to start talking to people about. I'm gonna be 100% with you.
And you're like dying on the inside. Like,
don't talk about how your bowels are loose or you're fucking stretched out or anything like that. We don't need none of that. That's not what the streams are for. I thought they were for gaming, bro.
Oh, come on. So anyway, Yeah, and man, it didn't. Let me tell you, when you eat that shit, the heavy cheese stuff, it just doesn't feel, because I'm not used to you eating it anymore. It doesn't feel good.
Right.
It doesn't. It like,
Well, and he has admitted that he's half lactose intolerant, whatever the fuck that's even supposed to mean. So I don't know why we're acting as though this was unexpected. I don't know why we're gonna pretend as though we didn't expect Little Caesars to make us gaseous or bloated or whatever the fuck. He knows his own health conditions, right? It's like if he was complaining that he had a big ass juicy ribeye and then had a gout attack. Like, it's the same shit, dude. Just you whatever. We're moving on. Thank you, Jordan Fadeaway, for the 2. Saying heart attack arc coming in nicely. Tubes. Oh god. We can only hope that we could get such Kino on the stream. Am I right or am I right? Can you imagine? Of course, he's not gonna die. I don't want him to die on the stream, unless. Could you imagine the pre-stream after that, though? Well, you guys, I spent the last 3 days in the hospital, and you know what? I've got tons of hospital bills, and I really need you guys to support me. You know, I lost 3 days of gameplay, and I don't know how I'm gonna afford my groceries. We're gonna go back to that in a fucking quickness.
it gets to my stomach. Like, oh man.
All right.
My gut wasn't gurgling, but I was bloated. Let's just put it that way. There was some bloating going on. I felt like
That's
a
gurgling,
blowfish,
bro.
actually. I'm not lactose intolerant. I'm half lactose intolerant. What that actually means is I can eat cheese and dairy, but depending on how much, I can have a major discomfort like bloating, gas, and having to go to the bathroom. But I can digest it. It just gives me those gastrointestinal problems. Okay.
Right. So then again, I don't know why we're pretending as though we couldn't have foresaw this. Like I always say, I think DSP is incapable of foresight. He's more of like a 3-sight or 2-sight kind of individual. He's not really capable of thinking ahead.
Can we get some support for Silk Song today? Let's keep it going. We actually have had good support for the last many streams. The only stream we didn't get support for last week was Suikoden 2. Like,
yes,
we hit
Zero. The pizza sucked because he's lactose intolerant. That's how things work, obviously. Everything that's a visual medium sucks when you're blind, too, and there's no way about it. That's just the way that it has to be.
goal every other stream. All right, which was amazing. And now already, great start yesterday. We hit multiple goals on the first stream. We crushed the goal on the late stream. Let's keep that going, right? If we keep the momentum going, there is a possibility that we can actually do this DSP Tries It by the end of the week, Wednesday. But we have to have some really good streams where we're hitting multiple goals for that to happen. If not, we'll do DSP Tries It this weekend, which also is good. My only problem is I can't promise you guys what I'm doing this weekend. I have no clue what is going down.
No idea.
With my internet. So far, there's been no updates from Comcast. You know, they said it's this Thursday that the internet will be down, and they're going to try to do these upgrades, and they're going to keep everyone informed. So I can't do anything until they finish. I have to take Thursday off because I can't stream. There's not much I can do about it.
If he wanted to stream, he absolutely could stream in one way or another. Like off of his phone, just doing like a Q&A maybe. Like if push really came to shove and he wanted to, he absolutely could. But instead, we're going to pretend as though there was literally nothing that we could do and we have to take the day off. And this is all Comcast's problem because we're unwilling to put out a different style of content to continue to work, which is obviously very robust and meaningful as a business owner to DSP.
All right. Like I would like to promise
That's
you
the
guys, hey,
normal
I'll be back
mentality
Friday.
they have. They
And
just
then we'll
give up
play
instantly.
Sonic Racing. And then on Saturday, we'll do my worst games ever marathon. It's going to be an amazing weekend, but I can't promise you that. I have no clue how long this will take.
All right.
I agree. I hope that the Comcast thing doesn't mess with us for more than a day because you got to think of it this way, right?
Okay.
For me,
I'm thinking.
My whole lifeblood is having internet to live stream. This is my business, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if
I don't know how I feel about saying that your business's lifeblood is the internet. I just feel like that's a weird way to put it. That's an odd thing to say. I don't know what it is specifically about that. I don't know if it's the use of the term lifeblood in this scenario. I don't think it's a good choice of words. I don't think it's accurate.
you have a brick and mortar business, right? And now you're trying to do sales and stuff, but you can't operate properly because you don't have internet. So now you're like trying to do offline sales and it's a big mess. One day, all right, you figure that out.
Right.
But more than one day, you're now talking about significantly affecting businesses in the area that are paying you
Right.
to operate on your internet. So the thing is, if they have it, more than one day off, they're legally liable. You
Oh,
can't have a
they're
business
not.
completely at a standstill for multiple days because you don't know how to update your infrastructure. You know what I mean? Like, that's your fault.
But this is how you. This is not a case of not knowing how to update the infrastructure. Comcast is not confused. They're not unsure as to how they're going to pull off this operation. There's not like a lack of planning. They're gonna do it. They have a set time. They told you the time frame at which your internet is going to be off. They have an expectation. They already have a crew that's expecting to do it on Thursday and get the job done. I don't know why we're pretending as though Comcast is some sort of incompetent entity that is incapable of doing their own job. That's most definitely not the case.
Well, you have a contract to provide a service, and if you don't, you're legally liable. So I think they're going to try to do as best they can, but again, it's humans, right? It's humans, and humans are unreliable, and they can have a lot of problems and do stupid shit.
They can.
So I don't know.
But the expectation is this is normal work that they do all year, every year somewhere, right? They have, I would hope, professional, competent people to do the job, because that's how businesses work. I know DSP would be unfamiliar with this. He's not exactly familiar with the job force. But when you have jobs that require you to know a thing or two and actually follow procedures, usually the people are fairly competent and professional. Usually.
Mr. Bun the Juice streaming has.
But he's also saying that Comcast is going to be held liable for these businesses or whatever, and completely failing to mention the fact that they offer something when it comes to these business class lines for these businesses in the form of that stupid 4G box that he also received, despite, running his business from his home. So they have a way to do their inventory. They have a way to process all of their purchases, all of their transactions. This is in the in the contract for the line, specifically for this reason. They are still operating and will probably not be inconvenienced by this almost at all. Meanwhile, DSP, who again also has one of these boxes, is just not going to use it. He's not going to do his best to make sure his business is still running. He's just going to throw his hands up and give up, obviously. That's the tried and true DSP. Thank you, Vaporware, 336 for the 21 months. Saying, I had these same outages in California, and they were at max 20 minutes while I was at work. This flatfish-looking goon 100% did this to unzip wallets. 100%. 100. And that's why he just fucking was chomping at the bit to bite on that email that he got that said it was going to be 6 months. He couldn't have bit on that bait fast enough, because what it meant is that he could beg harder, he could beg more, and pretend like this was some big tragedy, and then when nothing happened, he was up. That was the entire point, if you ask me. Thank you, Vaporware, for the 21 months.
It's been the most stable business I've ever had in my life, and I've been doing content creation full-time since 2011. I've had fast food jobs, retail sales jobs. I sold life insurance. Okay.
Right.
I worked on a business tech team. I worked at a bank where I did all
business tech team is crazy, I think, considering the job that he actually did.
kinds of financial stuff like loans, credit cards, and mortgages. And then I worked at a helicopter company for 4.5 years where I did customer support, and then I did continuous improvement work, and I was certified to do it.
Right.
And throughout that entire time that I did all those different jobs and I wore all those different hats.
Right. Over 15 years ago. This is your grandfather telling you about all of the work that he did fucking 30 years ago. And none of this works like this anymore. And the jobscape has completely changed. But go ahead, DSP. Tell us how it went.
None of that was stable whatsoever. It was always
okay.
fluctuating. It was always getting threatened, depending on market, depending on jobs, everything. Never was steady.
Because he sucked. But that's the answer. We want to know why DSP's job life was never steady. It's because nobody liked him. And I think that's a lot of people experience that in the real world. When you see people that are in and out of jobs often, it's because they either can't show up for work or they're completely unlikable and their attitude is shitty. I'm just going to call it like it is. I'm tired of pretending that that's not the case. It is. If you're not likable in the workplace, you're the first person to go and nobody feels bad. And a DSP has always been the same person, and that's exactly what happened to him.
There's no job security anywhere on earth unless you're rich, in which case you own the company yourself or you're in a rich family, then you have security. Outside of that, there's no such thing as job security for normal people. It's an
Absolutely, there is. If you're a competent person that has a skill set that can understand and follow orders and procedures, if you can conduct yourself in a professional manner, it is fairly easy, I would say, to maintain a job in some capacity. Not for everybody. There's obviously exceptions out there, but I think for the majority of responsible adult people, they can maintain a job.
illusion. Doesn't exist. Okay? So that being said, being my own boss, being a content creator, being a streamer, despite the fact that, yes, it can be risky and there can be fluctuations in the market. There could be one day YouTube's the place to be, the next day Twitch is the place to be, the next day Kick is the place to be, right? Despite
Right.
all of that, this has been the most consistent, most safe occupation I've ever had. It's the longest job I've ever had, and I don't ever foresee it going away. It's just
But I think that says more about DSP though. The fact that his most stable job, the fact that the job that he has the best time doing, I guess, the most consistent, which it's not. He filed for bankruptcy. I think it's more telling about DSP that his best job is the job where he doesn't have to interact with anybody. That despite all of the inconsistencies of owning and operating a streaming business on the internet, being an entertainer, the fact that that is more consistent than real work just tells you that DSP's incapable of working. He doesn't know how to follow orders, or he doesn't show up, or like I said, he's got a bad attitude. He's unlikable. He thinks he knows better than everybody. He wants to argue. He's like, there's a million things that it could be, and it like that's just the case. He's a piece of shit. That's why this is his best job.
basically adapting with the times. I need to adapt with the times and move to places that things are happening where there's opportunities. Like right now, Kick is a great place with tons of opportunities. Seriously, like the subs, I'm making more on subs than I do on any other contribution. And now they have Kicks, which is the same as bits. And I'm making more on that than any other contribution type. Even though I don't have a huge audience over there, it is growing slowly.
Okay.
And in time, you know, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe Kick will fall through and there's something else new. But that's the thing. You got to be paying attention. You got to stay with trends. And I'm trying to do that. And right now it's working. It's working well. And
This guy is notoriously a decade behind everybody else in just about every capacity, but has the audacity to show up on stream regularly and tell you that he's trying to keep up with trends, that he's trying to keep his eye on the ball and jump ship when applicable. Are we serious?
like I said, I've had all these issues with various different places. All right. But the thing is, what I found is that I have a loyal viewer base who likes me and likes the content I put out, and they're going to go wherever I go. Whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitch, whether it's Kick, whether it's another service, wherever it is, they're still willing to follow me, even if it means discomfort because they have to learn a new system or a new chat, whatever it is. They want to stay with me. Okay? So
Right.
there you go.
There you go.
Basic-
I've got this dented cult following me around that'll do basically anything I ask of them, even if it's at a massive inconvenience to them. And that's sick, guys. It means that I basically can do anything I fucking want. And that's why it's the best job. Because there's no expectations for DSP. He can quit games whenever he wants. He can play anything that he fucking wants. He can eat whatever he wants, and they will placate him. They will pretend as though it's the hottest shit on the planet, or they won't say anything because they're going to be banned. Like, those are the options. That's why this is the best environment for DSP. Because nobody can hold him accountable for anything. Thank you, Wesley H, for the 5, saying this is his most stable job, but he had how many years of tax issues? No platform can save bad vids and constant begging. Any other streamer is better. 100% agree. And it's not even the tax issues. It's the bankruptcy. It's the gonna lose the house arc. Like for real. Imagine saying that a job is your most stable while actively telling people for an extended period of time, months, that you don't know how you're gonna pay your bills and you're gonna lose your entire fucking house and be actually homeless. But you want people to believe that this is success. We're making big money over here. We're the best. I mean, come on, guys. This is the best job ever. Wild.
Says any resume with a 17-year gap in work will throw in the trash. There's no 17-year gap in work. I've been self-employed for 13, 14 years. I'm self-employed. I have my own registered business. I'm not unemployed. What a dumb thing to say. I have more work history than most people because I have my
But that's only if you qualify this as work, though. And I'm going to be honest. If I was a hiring manager, and I had to look over somebody's documents, and it said they were a 17-year online entertainer, I would immediately throw the paperwork in the trash. I'm not hiring a 43-year-old dunce who hasn't had to work with anybody else in the past 20 years. That'd be a fucking idiot's move.
Own business.
Come on now. So stupid. Thank you, Vaporware336, for the 5, saying, this YouTube is the most secure job I've ever had shtick is something that cows like RTU do. 9-to-5 phobia is real among lifelong panhandlers. Well, I think it's like a unconscious understanding that they are useless in society in any real capacity, and that nobody like really enjoys them being around. Like I said, an unconscious understanding of this, because of course if it was conscious, they would maybe make better decisions and be more likable on purpose.
That I've successfully operated for 14 years, and I have the track record to prove it. I'm not unemployed. What are you, stupid? What a dumb thing to say. Wow. Dabian says the only problem that you have is you start at the bottom. Most likely you wouldn't make the money you make doing this. No, you're right. But the thing is, there is no value in myself, Phil Burnell.
Real. Stop right there. There is no value in himself as Phil Burnell. That is a great point, DSP. Wrap up the show. That's the end. We got him. Thank you, Iwamoto, for the 2, saying recruiter checks his vids, CV straight in the trash. Absolutely. 100%. And it's not like he could even pretend as though he doesn't have this legacy, because it's his only job history worth mentioning. I don't think that they ask for job history past 10 to 15 years. So this is all he could fucking mention. And it would, like you said, go right in the fucking shredder, in the trash.
Going out to the physical job market and getting a job. There's zero. There's no value there at all, because I have experience in the online, marketplace, the online content creation experience, right? That's where I thrive.
Are we thriving? Is this what thriving looks like, folks? That's the lie we're telling.
It's I'm doing gameplay or I'm doing something else. There's always going to be an audience here. It just depends on what I'm doing, right? There's certain things I don't want to do, and you guys know that. You guys know I don't want to do drama and content like that. It doesn't mean that I can't. It just means I don't want to right now.
Right now.
Okay? There's other things.
Please keep in mind the right now, because DSP would have you believe that he's never wanted to do drama. It's far beneath him. It makes you a terrible, blood merchant or whatever the fuck he likes to spew. He likes to act like these people are the bottom of the barrel, scums of society, absolute dregs, lowest of the low. But we're not going to do it right now. We're leaving the door open for us to do it later, because we don't do it right now.
Things to other things I could definitely, all the time you guys are asking me, will you do this? Will you do this? I say, no, I just want to do games, right?
Right.
There you go.
That's why you have to beg.
But there's no value in me going out and working at a retail job. Anyone can do that. I have tons of experience and expertise doing stuff online, not in the retail world.
Kind of shitting on Kat there, though, isn't he? To imply that the job she does, anybody could do that? I don't even think that that's the case. I don't think that retail work is exactly the highest skilled job that you can do. I don't think that it requires any sort of specialization, but it's definitely not for everybody. I fucking hated retail work. I don't want to interact with the public on a regular basis and pretend to be nice in that way. That's not me. I'm not going to act like it's the hardest thing ever. Some people are built that way, but it's not exactly the most specialized kind of professional thing. Kind of silly, I guess. Thank you, Wesley H, for the 5, saying, okay, let's believe Phil for a second, that this is a job. What transferable skills has he gotten in 17 years? He can't edit, can't clip, and can't work with others. He can talk a lot. I guess that's a skill if you need somebody to, filibuster at your local board meeting. You're right. I don't know what skill he has. He can panhandle really good, but I don't know that you can put that on a resume. That seems like a weird skill to advertise to a business, that you were basically homeless. I don't know.
So why would I do
Even
that?
the 5.
Yeah, right. Of
Great
course I'll
question.
start at the bottom, because who the hell cares? Anyone can do that shit. Right? Face Hooker says, if success continues to grow for streaming, would you consider online education to improve your streams like design and digital media? You mean like how I make all my thumbnails now by myself?
They look like shit, by the way. I know this is kind of pot calling the kettle black, because my thumbnails also look like shit, but I am not going to get up here and pretend as though it's the hottest thing ever. I have some sort of in-depth knowledge of how to operate Photoshop and do photo editing because I make thumbnails.
I've been pretty much all this year.
Thank you, Conqueror of Iberia, for the 17 months. Saying 17 months of successful detracting is wild. GG. Also, I worked reception for a while. That's hell. I dislike customer service. I think most people do, to be honest. P.S. I was Conqueror of Iberia. I was aware. I know that image. Thank you for the 17 months of course. For the 17 months of detracting.
You mean like that? You mean like how I relearned to video edit and I could do it whenever I want? I have the software to do it and I actually have the expertise to do it? You mean like that? Or what else are you talking about? I'm just curious. All right, guys. Well, anything else to talk about, or shall we begin? Because we can begin if you want. I'm okay with that. But let's get some support today. Let's hit the goal, number 1, on this stream. And number 2, let us get some Kick support today. Kick support is very important today.
Please.
Like I said, I'm trying to get momentum back on Kick. We lost a bunch of momentum on Kick because we lost a whole bunch of gifted subs, and I would like to get those back today and over the course of the next several days. That's why I have that goal set. So please support on Kick today. If you're watching on Kick, please support the channel. All right?
Okay. All right. Okay. So we talked a little bit about Comcast there, but because, like I said, he wanted this to be the biggest tragedy to befall him in quite a while. He wanted to capitalize on this as much as possible. He talked about it Sunday. He talked about it Monday. He talked about it Tuesday. And I'm pretty sure he talked about it Wednesday as well. And I'm not going to show you every single one, but I thought that this clip of it, probably the best example.
Well, let me tell you something,
Thank you, of course,
brother.
to Snort Hogan.
I just want to say thank you because you guys have been very supportive. Every stream so far this week, we have hit our support goals or exceeded them. Because of that, we are currently at 3 out of 10 goals hit. And we are on pace to very shortly be doing DSP Tries It, the Popeyes Hot Ones collaboration menu. This is a new menu at Popeyes that has 3 items: a new chicken sandwich, chicken dippers, and wings.
Now, I'm going to tell you, because I don't have a clip of it, and we've mentioned it here now, the Popeyes DoorDash event, the DSP Tries It, went horribly. They forgot his fucking Hot One sauce, which was the entire point of getting the meal. He said the chicken on the chicken sandwich was way smaller than McDonald's, which I don't think is true, but we can move on. Kind of looked like a rat, if you ask me. And then the ghost pepper fucking powder that they put on the dippers or whatever was almost non-existent and was very mild. And then get this, the foreigner who was supposed to deliver it, DSP's own complaint, not mine. The guy apparently didn't speak English and was incapable of following the fucking map and made DSP go and get the food at his back gate. It was a total inconvenience, obviously. Like I said, I don't have a clip of any of this. Because it was all fucking stupid and a waste of time. I couldn't believe it.
All of which have sauces that are themed after the Hot Ones internet-based show. I've literally never seen Hot Ones before. I don't care to. I'm not very interested in it. But you guys are interested in seeing me try all 3 of these products. So I said, all right, let's go. Let's do it. So 3 out of 10 hit. If we keep the pacing going, we could actually do this by the end of the week. Keep in mind, I'm here all day today, all day Tuesday, and all day Wednesday. Thursday is the day I'm taking off because the internet's supposedly going to be down for the first day. So 7 goals to hit. Can we do it? Well, we'd have to hit 2 goals, at least 1 stream, if not 2, to make it happen. Can we get some support going? Can we get to that point and do it actually by the end of the week? I would totally be awesome, or be on pace for that. I'd love that. All right.
I bet you would, you fat fucking piece of shit. We're gonna move on.
We didn't have any events or anything special going on. I was off. I come back, 200 subs gone. So we're trying to get those subs back, okay? And I've been pushing. We have a goal now set over on Kick, 150 subs by the end of Wednesday's stream. Currently, we are at 37. So we're actually a good chunk in. Like, we actually got a good amount of subs yesterday, and it allowed me to get good progress. With 3 days left,
Again, we're talking about this good progress. We've got a goal and we're getting there. But what are we progressing towards? It's just the end of the goal. There is no reward. There is nothing that he receives in the end. There is, no challenge being conquered here. It is quite literally a goal to give him money so that he can set another goal to give him money. That's it. That's what we're advertising here, and we're making that a part of the content, like to this extent.
Can we do it? Well, here's the thing.
It's insulting, it's revolting, it's sick, it's piss.
If we hit 30 to 40 subs a day like we did yesterday, we could do it. But we got to get momentum going. So if you're watching today on Kick, or you're someone who wants to support, right now, gifting some subs on Kick would be an absolutely amazing way for you to support this channel and or the content I put out. Let's get some subs over on Kick. In fact, how about this? Let's get our first
Here we go.
sub of the day right now over
Do the
on
point.
Kick.
Do the point.
Let's get that momentum going. Let's get our first support, because we have no support right now anywhere. Let's get our first support of the day. Let's get it rolling, and let's get that momentum going. By the way, I also want to talk about kicks. Kicks
Oh
are
my
the new way to
God.
support over on Kick. They're the equivalent of the bits.
How long do you guys think we're going to be talking about kicks as though they're the new hotness? Like, nobody knows what they are. It's a completely foreign concept that we have to pig-splain. How much longer are we going to get these segments? Because I'm about sick of it. I'm tired, boss. I don't want to hear this shit no more. I don't know why we pretend as though new people check out DSP on a regular basis. And if they did, they're too stupid to figure out how kicks work on the fucking site that they are on. Like, this was their chosen site to watch the guy on, and they don't understand how it works? Come on.
System that's used on Twitch. Basically, what happens is a viewer can buy a whole bunch of these Kick currency, and they can contribute it during a live stream. And actually, last night, when we were doing American Truck Sim, we actually had the first significant amount of kicks that were given.
So everything before that, any amount of kicks given before that was insignificant and completely unremarkable and forgettable. I hope all of you dents feel fucking ashamed. I'm sorry, I'm being aggressive and toxic. My bad.
And what I mean by that is there was like 1,000,
And being aggro
2,000,
today.
3,000 kicks all coming in. And they all had really unique animations that play in the chat. Sadly, the services that do pop-ups and track this stuff in like a leaderboard,
Right.
they have not updated yet. So because of that, we don't have the ability to have pop-ups on screen yet, and it's a little hard to track kicks. So I would say this: if you do a significant amount of kicks, 100 or more in one transaction, please let me know, because I need to know so I can put that on the leaderboard and give you a shout out. There's no other way for me to track it right now. It sucks. I wish that there was, but for whatever reason, Kick has not made that set up yet.
Yeah, this is all Kick's
In fact,
fault.
what I'm doing right now is I'm
It's
trying.
Kick's fault that these other businesses that make it possible to track with leaderboards and this, that, and the, you know what I'm talking about, the Streamlabs, the Twitch or Stream Elements or whatever. It's Kick's fault that these businesses haven't updated and allowed this to be the case yet, obviously. Sounds good to me, man.
There we go. I'm trying to set it up.
Oh, thank you, Angus Tweed, for the fresh membership. Thank you. Welcome to the 60 Skulls. Apparently it popped twice. Very cool.
So that I can at least see some kicks. What's happening is a bunch of people are dropping single kicks, and I appreciate that. And I do want to say thanks to those who are. If you're dropping a single kick here or there to support the channel, thank you. I appreciate that very much. But I'm not going to be shouting out every single kick over on Kick. That's ridiculous, especially.
Dude, imagine and this is not to sound unappreciative, but to explicitly state that you're appreciative of people who drop one singular penny into your cup while you're supposed to be a 17-year-long content creator with the legacy to rival everybody else on the platform, and you're completely underappreciated, and all of the things that he says about himself, to be acknowledging single individual pennies potentially. Completely debased, if you ask me.
People could just go one kick, one kick, one kick. You know what I'm saying? So, let's see how things go today. But any momentum would be appreciated. And like I said, our first sub of the day would be great if we could get it right now. All right? Cool. What is going on over here? There should be no issue with Silent Hill being in any country. None of the characters from the OG games are from Silent Hill. The town reaches out. Exactly, but the point I'm saying is this doesn't take place in Silent Hill.
Right.
It takes place in Japan.
Right.
The girl doesn't go to Silent Hill. So why is it called Silent Hill? It could be called Fujiwara Province. And that's because she's in Fujiwara Province and it takes her to a demon land there. Why is it called Silent Hill? Literally, I'm not even kidding you. If they just explain in the game why it's called Silent Hill, I'll be okay with it.
And maybe they do. Now, I will tell you, this is Atlas's personal opinion, and maybe this is a hot take. I've been watching the Silent Hill gameplay. This game is not for me. This is not a Silent Hill game I would have asked for. Not that I'm a Silent Hill player. I haven't enjoyed a Silent Hill story even since 2, like the original 2. I'm not a big Silent Hill player. It's not grabbing me. It's not enthralling me to learn the story. I'm also confused as to why it's called Silent Hill, but I'm not going to complain about it before beating the game and acting as though being confused before the ending is unacceptable. That seems, I don't know. How about you play the game and find out and then make your complaints?
If not, if it's the end of the game and they don't explain shit of why this is Silent Hill, I'm going to be angry. Like, stop calling it what it's not. Okay? There you go. Okay. So, folks, here's the deal. Before we get to Q&A and everything.
Well, and like guessing that there is some relation. I mean, the fog rolls in. It's definitely like this this nightmare world fueled by her own experiences and what's going on with her town. And like that is, similar to Silent Hill in some capacity. I'll give him that. I don't know how that all links together, but I'm not the one playing the game. So I'm not going to, have some sort of frustration towards this the way he is.
Here's the deal. This morning, a fan of mine reached out to me.
Hill Dragon saying, wait till he finds out you have to play the game twice to get the true ending. Somebody already told him that. Once again, somebody has handheld him through the chat and told him this, and he flat out said that that's a shame because he's not going to play the game twice, and the game can go fuck itself if that's the case. I mean, that's his real response, so.
Now, of course, you have to understand that whenever I get a message from a fan, I got to take it with a grain of salt. And what I mean by that is I don't know if it's real or not. It could be completely fake, or it could actually be a real fan who's concerned and who just wants to help, because I've had both. All right. But what I'd like to do, I'd like to share with you a message that a fan sent me this morning in regards to this Comcast upgrade that's going to start happening as of this Thursday, the 25th.
Here you go. This is that dented ass fan, possibly a troll that we just believed with no recourse.
Ready? So here we go. Hey, Phil, I've been debating sending you this email because I don't want to stress you out anymore or anything, because this could be a pretty stressful information for you. Great. That's a great way to start a message, isn't it? Okay, let's continue. I had the same.
I mean, it's an accurate start though. Like this person knows DSP enough to know that this would be the type of thing to stress him out. This would be the type of thing that would eat away at him and worry him legitimately, because of the money that he would be missing out on. So.
Comcast network upgrades in my area a few months ago. So it sounds to me like Comcast is actually doing this network-wide across the country. It's actually not even Comcast that does these upgrades. It's subcontracted out to another company that does all the work. So what that means is these are not even going to be Comcast workers that are doing the work. They're hiring a crew who probably know, are used to like laying out new lines, whatever it is, and they're going to be doing all the work. So it's not under the regular scope of Comcast work. I'm not exaggerating when I say it was at least 6 weeks of internet outages. I missed the button. I wanted to put it out a little earlier, but I missed the button. 6 weeks. Okay?
And we just believed this. That's the bit about this that is so shocking to me is we've got this buddy trolling going on here, as what I'm going to call it, LARPing even potentially. Maybe it's a real person. Fuck, who cares? It could be a real dent. We just believed this with no proof whatsoever. There was no actual like text messages showing any of this. There was no sort of pictures nor communications that were shown. This person said these things that it took 6 weeks, and there's more information that they'll give, and no actual evidence was provided whatsoever. And DSP ran with this, dude. Thank you, Skycra, for the 20 months in the 60s skulls. What an actual OG Skycra is. Big
Continue
ups.
here.
Much respect.
It wasn't out all every day or anything like that. So basically, it wasn't complete no internet. But rather, it would cut in and out almost every day. There were some days when it was fine, completely, no problems at all. And we actually had thought for a bit that the upgrades had been finished, only to find out that the internet was out the next day. And it starts going in and out all day again. It's extremely frustrating. After we called Comcast, they told us they're doing nationwide upgrades to their network. It has to be done. There's no way to avoid it. They did eventually credit our neighbor $100 on their bill because he called them and hassled them on the phone for 2 hours about the internet being out for so long. I've never contributed or chatted in your streams, but I'm a years-long viewer, and I want to give you a heads up on what very well could possibly be coming your way this week, so you're able to adjust accordingly.
Been a fan since Heavy Rain, Phil. You've never seen me. I've never sent you money. You've never seen a chat or a comment that I've sent, but I'm totally a real person who is not just triggering your financial anxiety for no reason. I promise. Of course. Totally believable. Thank you, Robert Williams, for the 19 months as a member of the 60 Skulls. Big ups. Another OG classic style.
Okay?
But somebody said this earlier in chat, like this is just one quick email over basically nothing to trigger DSP's financial anxiety and have him thrown through an absolute fucking loop. It's too easy. You would think that at some point DSP would, he would understand as a growing, mature adult that in this situation, there is basically nothing he can do. In a legitimate sense, there's nothing that he can do. This is completely out of his control. And that believing what Comcast says and the fact that it's only going to take a day is going to be better for him than believing that it's going to be 6 weeks, because he's going to fucking rack himself, rack his brain all day about this. He's going to wring himself fucking dry trying to make up the difference if he genuinely believes it and isn't a scamming, scummy fuck that is just trying to take advantage of the situation, which I believe he was. But it's just, it's a mindset thing that he should have. He shouldn't be, he shouldn't be stringing himself up this high about it, but that's not the way to say that, so we'll move on. Thank you, NWO News, for the 2, saying, the old in and out, you see. Well, DSP wouldn't know anything about that, but of course I would, because I'm a real person. Thank you, NWO News, for the 2.
Now, for the record, I appreciate that this fan sent me this message. This is not, this now is going to make Phil be feeling bad and he shouldn't have sent it. No, I need to know this stuff. Because the sad fact is a company like Comcast is not being transparent. What Comcast should have done right up front is said, hey.
RJ is admitting in chat right now that he wrote the email and that he got the details from a post on Reddit. Big if true. And if I were like DSP, if I were just to believe that anybody admitting to anything on the internet with no proof was telling the truth, RJ, I would inherently believe you. Kind of like DSP did when that random Kiwi Farms user admitted to hacking into his internet or whatever with no proof whatsoever. But that's not me. So, RJ, I expect an email with proof, of course.
FYI, we're upgrading the network in your area. This is not a one-day job. This could be weeks. We're going to keep in touch and let you know everything step by step. What they did do is they wanted me to confirm my phone number to say that they're supposedly going to be texting me to let me know exactly when the internet is going up and down. They're supposed to. Okay?
Right.
But they never said anything about, this could be a 6-week ongoing process. Your internet is up and down and all around constantly. Because here's the deal. If that's the case,
right,
then I can't consistently stream. Right, and that's a huge problem. That's my business. As I've
my
explained to all
lifeblood,
of you,
even
the on-demand videos are not my major source of income anymore. The on-demand videos that I put on this channel do give me some revenue, some ad revenue, but it's just not even close to what I make on streams. The income that I get from YouTube and Kick is way more than what I make on the on-demand videos.
right.
So you might say, well, hey, if the internet's going to be down, you could just record offline and upload the videos and we'll watch later. Well, number one,
I thought that this was his most stable job he's ever had, that this has never been an issue for him, that he's a completely successful content creator despite all of the up and downs. Nobody could hold him back. But now we're completely reliant on this one source of internet, and if it goes down, we're basically fucked. We're going to go homeless and die. Like, that's the narrative we're painting right now. Even though the clip we just watched before was talking about how stable and successful we are.
How does it guarantee?
If your business completely folds in on itself because the internet isn't on, I don't think that you have a very strong business model. I'm just going to put it out there like that.
They're not even going to be able to upload these videos in a timely manner if the internet is going to keep going out. And number two, not everyone is going to say, oh, I'm just going to watch the on-demand video. You guys are used to coming to streams. A lot of people come to streams and they interact and they contribute because they can talk with me, because they can get that level of interaction. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Did he just, you know what I'm saying?
And they
twice?
interact and they contribute because they can talk with me, because they can get that level of interaction. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
What? We actually just fucking like hit the record scratch and just ran it back a second. We know what I'm saying twice. Actually, just running out of lines, I guess. The dialogues have been expelled or expunged.
This could be a huge
That's not the word either.
problem for me. Now, here's the thing: there is one saving grace in this message that was sent to me. The saving grace is this. Did you hear what he said? He said they are hiring contracted workers to do this upgrade.
Right.
So what does that mean? It means that they're going to have a Jasper Kitty. Well, I'm going to have a Jasper Kitty. They're not going to have a Jasper Kitty. It means that they are going to have a set contract with set working hours and set work established for each day. You know what I'm saying? This is not, oh, it's our employees and we're paying them hourly. This is a set contract of work. Therefore, what I suspect will happen.
I suspect, meaning this is based off of no prior knowledge nor experience or information at all. I'm literally just making this up. And this is what I'm going to base my entire business and life around going forward.
Is that they will begin work at a certain time every day, and they're probably going to finish their work at a certain time every day.
Okay.
And
that's typically how people do work.
This person is saying, the internet was never just totally out. It was down and up all day. So what that sounds like to me is there's going to be some days when I'll be able to stream no problem whatsoever, as if nothing's wrong. But then there's going to be other days when basically the internet's going to be up and down all day, but at a certain time, their workday is going to end, because that's what's in the contract. We'll work till 6 p.m. and then we're done, right? So if I can figure out the actual time that these guys stop working and the internet will be up and not going down and up all day, then I can maybe adjust my streaming. If this means that I need to start.
But this is ridiculous nonsense based on nothing. This is him implying that when they aren't working on the lines anymore, that they're just gonna, like, I guess, reconnect his internet and allow him to be on the old lines again during the nighttime. What fucking job works this way? I don't know if any of you have ever worked on like on an actual job site that is multiple days long. You don't just like reattach everything and make everything accessible again in the middle of the job because you're going away for the night and coming back tomorrow. I don't know any job that works that way. If you're in the middle of a project, you just leave the project as is and come back tomorrow and pick it right back up. We're fucking, I don't know, man. This is such a weird idea to even have. And again, completely like bit on the idea that this is going to be a multiple day thing, despite the actual source of the problem, which is Comcast, telling him it will be exactly one fucking day. He believed some random email as opposed to the information directly from the source.
My late stream on the earlier side and go longer. Like right now, my late stream starts around 7. We start playing games around 7:30 and I finish around 9:30, 10, right? What if they stop work around 5, 6 o'clock, I can start my stream around 5:30. We start gaming at 6 and we go till like 9:30, 10. So now at least every day I'm putting in a 3 to 4 hour stream. Even if the internet's down earlier, I still have the ability to go do a major stream and people could hopefully come by during that stream and support it. Okay. The truth is I cannot not work for a month and a half. So if Comcast thinks that's what they're going to do, they got another thing fucking coming.
What do they have coming?
Their internet has to at least work somewhat so that I can work.
What are you gonna do, DSP? What is your plan for recourse here? How are you gonna punish them if this is the case? Please let me know.
Because if I find in the first week that I can't work at all for a week, I'm going to be contacting them with a lawyer.
Amazing. Actually threatening to sue Comcast because they're upgrading his lines and he's incapable of running his own business, which somebody had said it in the chat earlier. There's specifically a clause in the contract that says they can't be held liable for any businesses while their internet is out or whatever. Now, I don't know that that's the case. I'm going to believe that. That sounds reasonable and like the type of big business thing that gets put into contracts all of the time. So I will believe it. But like, oh my god, dude, the entitlement.
It's that simple. I'm not going to be out of business because Comcast doesn't know how to run their business. Okay.
Yes, you will.
Also, if this does happen, and if we're in a situation where the internet is not working for a week, I may have to look for another ISP. Now, I already did that 2 years ago, and there was nothing. There was nothing. The only thing available.
So his actual recourse is to legitimately hire a lawyer, which he's stated before himself he cannot afford and that he would have to hit the lottery in order to get, or look for a different ISP, which the last time he looked, there was 0 other options, I guess. So it sounds like you would do a whole lot of fucking nothing and just crying and bitching online. Imagine that.
Available was like Starlink. Okay? That was it. So I don't think Starlink's going to be any better. All right? Now, I don't know. We'll have to see. All right? But what I'm hoping is that it's not as bad as it's all being made out to be. If it's a few days and it's up and down, I get it. If it's a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, no. I'm not going to not work for 6 weeks, especially with this last year. Allow me to explain. This last year has been absolutely amazing. You guys have come out and supported me in droves. You've got me to a situation where things are going good to the point where now I can start to save money. And I can actually start doing that. In my home this year, I fixed things that have been broken for a long time.
Oh yeah, guys, he fixed his toilet. That happened Sunday night, I believe he announced that. He had finally fixed the decades-long broken toilet in his home, and everybody was supposed to cheer and clap and pretend like he's finally making good decisions and that he's matured as an adult. Meanwhile, every normal person understands that you don't get praised for doing something like 10 fucking years late. Much like switching to direct capture, much like multi-streaming or making his own thumbnails. You don't get praise for showing up actually 10 years late. But
was able to improve my
he's very proud of himself, and he wants to flex, of course.
lifestyle. I'm not now going to go into debt to be able to pay things for a month and a half because I can't work because Comcast thinks they're going to take my internet down. No, that's not happening. Under no circumstance am I going to lose a month and a half of work and Comcast is going to get away with it. No. Okay? So, let's see what happens. I'm hoping for the best. The thing is, I don't want to be drastic. I'm trusting what Comcast is saying. That
he doesn't want to be drastic, but he just got online in front of hundreds of people on his own channel and thousands of people on other people's restreams. But he just got up in front of all of these people and threatened to sue Comcast if his internet was down for an extended period of time. Which is hilarious, because by the time he would contact the lawyer, if he even did, and they sent out the strongly worded letter, I'm sure the internet would be back on. Like, legitimately, that would probably be the case, as he'd spend a couple of days finding a lawyer. By the time they drafted a fucking email up to send to Comcast, the internet would be back on, and he wasted all that money.
they're going to keep me in the loop about when the internet will be up or down. All right. And if they say, oh, today your internet's probably going to be down all day, I'll let you guys know. And I'll say, listen, I can't stream during the day today. Maybe we'll try for a night stream. In the meantime, I'm still going to be working. I'm still going to be doing content. You understand? I will do content. Does it mean that I'll be able to play every single game I want to play in October? Maybe not. I don't know. The thing is, exactly. Stormforce Gamer just said in chat, all we can do is play it by ear. You're right.
You're right. And that's why I'm sowing all of the seeds of stress and anxiety right now, so that you can send all the money. That I understand that all we can do is play it by ear. And that's why I'm turning up the levels of fear in here. That way everybody's on edge and sends me money. M-Bode coming through with some new stats. I believe M-Bode, he's usually pretty keyed in, saying $266,000 spent on champions in a lifetime. And he's only paid $25,000 towards the principal on his mortgage. I'd like to know the source on this, but big if true, large if accurate, as the kids say.
That's literally all I can do, because I don't know what's going to happen. It could be that this is something that's done within a few days. It could be something that's ongoing for 6 weeks, but it also could be that we know the time frame. And if we know the timetable, if we know 9 a.m. the internet's going to go down and it's going to be iffy all day, but it'll be back by 6, then I'll start streaming at 6:30 and we'll be here for 3-4 hours every night consistently. And I'll just have to find other things to do during the day, whether it's a gameplay session and I upload on demand or if it's something else. But I'm going to be leaning heavily on hoping people show up to those streams that I can be here to support me, or else I'm out of business.
Good.
That's how serious this is. And when
That's how serious this is. All of the success and all of the bragging that we've been doing over the past year about all of the money that we've been making and how we're making more money now than we have in a decade and life is going good. If DSP doesn't work for half a month, he's completely, I believe is the word insolvent. Is that what happens when your business goes completely under because you don't have the funds to maintain? That's the word, I think. That's what's going to happen at a DSP. It's all going to fall apart because he's out of work for 3 to 6 weeks. Now, I don't know about you. Maybe I'm, tooting my own horn here, but 3 to 6 weeks ain't the end of the fucking world, and it definitely shouldn't be when you're a 43-year-old man who's completely self-employed and you have no children. You should have been better with your money than this. This is completely unacceptable in every capacity.
Comcast, I hope they understand that. I'm not going out of business because they want to upgrade their network. That's not how it works. Absolutely not. Okay?
The triumphant sip as we've just threatened a conglomerate internet company.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to get rid of a couple idiots over here. Give me a sec. I got rid of this idiot. Okay, good. So, here's what's going to happen. I am not going to stream Thursday because that's supposed to be the first day that this is going down. All right? I'll try to keep you all in the loop. My expectation is I will be back on Friday with Sonic Racing Crossworlds Premiere and Silent Hill F.
So that's the expectation. The expectation is that we're going to be back on Friday. But we will spend the rest of the week complaining and bringing this up as much as possible. Again, to instill fear that DSP will never be coming back and he needs all of your money right now because there will never be another chance. Obviously.
Okay? That's my expectation. I'll be here on Friday. Now, if the internet is going up and down and up and down, and maybe we try to stream, and if it doesn't consistently work, what can I do? I could keep trying and just keep gaming and playing, right? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does, it does. And people just have to understand that you're watching a stream, it may go down for an hour, and then come back for an hour, and then go down for an hour, and we just have to be okay with that. All right? Or it could be I just don't stream during the day, and I try to stream at night when they're done doing the messing with the lines. So let's see. Again, we can't actually fully plan for this. I'm flexible.
Okay, all right. Sure. Thank you, Adam Corona, for the 5, saying he equates Comcast doing these upgrades as people pushing him around. How pathetic. Well, that's how like ego-driven he is. That's how narcissistic he is. Anytime anybody inconveniences DSP to any capacity, he's being pushed around. He's being bullied. He's being belittled. These people know what they're doing, and they have to receive their retribution from the guy. He's not gonna let this shit slide. Like, that's who he thinks he is. He thinks he's some a big badass that everybody is going out of their way to fuck with, which some of them are. Don't get me wrong, but Comcast is definitely not. Comcast is not actively fucking detracting by changing his lines, and Comcast didn't send him this stupid fucking email about how it's going to take 6 weeks. Matter of fact, they sent him a text message saying explicitly that it was going to be 1 day. But again, we're going to...
I need to adjust my time that I do stuff.
Don't let a good tragedy go to waste, I guess.
I will do that. All right, I will. But I need you guys to understand. I'm going to probably make a special video to explain this and make it a separate video than just this podcast.
My God,
I need people to know what's going on. The problem here is that I am known as Mr. Consistency. Right? I am the guy who is here.
Nobody's ever
literally
called him that.
Every single day streaming.
Except for when he's not. Except for when he takes off Friday and Saturday. Except for when he takes off Thursday and Friday and Saturday. Right? Except for when he's got COVID or the internet's down. Or like, there's a million things that happen that makes DSP not stream or have to change the schedule, especially as of late. To continue to ride on this, I'm Mr. Consistent, everybody knows what I'm doing, is so fucking tired and played out and annoying at this point, because it's not even true, man. Yes, Mbode putting COVID in quotes. You're right. He didn't even have COVID that we know of. He just said that shit.
I'm the one who puts out tons of content. If I'm not available to do that, that changes everything. And now people might be like, oh, well, now Phil's not consistent anymore. Now I'm not going to watch him. That's not fair. I'm here. The internet.
Warren making a good point, too. How about that time he took a whole week off without saying a single word and not cluing anybody in? Absolutely, dude. But he's Mr. Consistent. He's Mr. Here every day. And when he's not here, he's completely transparent and lets everybody know. That's just the way he works. And if you say otherwise, obviously you're a fucking idiot. Thank you, Nico, for the 50 knock. Saying only reason he fixed his toilet is he got new cat coming over. You know, some people say that's why the health arc is here. That's why we're pumping iron and swelling up. We're looking for new baddies. We're out there baddie wrangling again. In the DMs, of course. Thank you, Nico, for the 50 knock. Confirming that he's on that train.
That's the problem, not me. Okay? So, let's see what happens. I don't want to be Mr. Doom and Gloom. I don't want to be, oh God, that's also why I'm not saying, hey, definitely we're doing the marathon this weekend. I want to do the marathon this Saturday. Okay? I do. But I can't guarantee it. All right? I can't. I tell you tentatively, let's say that this Saturday, which is September 26th. No, the 27th. Saturday the 27th. Let's say tentatively that's the worst games ever marathon. But understand that may not happen. Understand.
I hope you guys are ready for a fucking begathon today. Obviously, I will not be watching it. I've got household style operations to do today.
It may be up and down, and it would suck if it does, but what can I do?
Hopefully someone clips
I'm going to try to keep, unlike previously where I would lose my cool, and I would go crazy, and I would say doom and gloom, the sky is falling. I'm going to try to keep a level head.
Right. That's why we've already threatened to sue Comcast. Right? Like, that's the level-headedness we like to keep around here. We've already threatened to sue upon immediately hearing the news, but we're going to try and stay calm.
All right? I am. I'm going to try to be calmer and say, let's approach this very fairly, matter-of-factly. Listen, Comcast eventually needs to update their infrastructure. It's necessary for the business. Does it suck that they have no redundancies so to protect the consumers from losing internet? Yes. Is that a problem? Yes. Just last year, someone climbed a phone pole and cut the internet line, and we didn't have internet for a day. There's no redundancies to protect someone from simply doing that? No. Oh, why would you have that, right? I mean, that would actually be good customer support and experience and good service. They don't have that. It's just...
So now I think that it would be a good idea to put machine guns on top of the fences surrounding the substations, around the internet poles and whatnot. I think that's a good idea personally. I'm a sick, twisted individual, as DSP likes to say we all are, right? But that doesn't exactly strike me as the type of thing DSP would be behind. And that's about the only thing that I know you could probably do in order to stop people from doing something like that. Like, they already have the fences up. It's already dangerous to cut electrical lines. Aside from turret towers, yeah, like we're fucking playing balloons over here. I'm not quite sure what he expects them to do. Armed security? I don't know.
Well, bare minimum to get it working, and if it doesn't work, well, fuck you. Well, fuck them. They're going to have a rude awakening. I got into a certain point in my life where I'm just tired of being pushed around.
Oh my fucking God, he literally said pushed around. No. That's so fucking... It's so vain. It's so self-centered. It's embarrassing. Again, for a 43-year-old man to have this mindset, to have this sort of attitude, moving through life this way, it just goes to show you how inexperienced he really is with living in real life. That he still has this mind. This is the mindset of a child, or maybe even like an entitled teenager, and that's where he currently resides at. Thank you, Telltale Fan, for the 5. Not saying that you can't criticize, but how does DSP expect to have good customer service when he craps on every company he interacts with? And that's a great question. I'm sure that some of the customer service things that he complains about is on him. When he talks about all of these service reps, thank you, Aqueduct, for the sub. When he complains about all of these customer service reps that treat him poorly and don't want to deal with him and put him on hold for a million years, to some extent, I think that is legitimately people just not wanting to deal with him. His attitude is bad. He uses the wrong language. You can tell by the cadence in his voice that he's upset, and people don't like to deal with that. So they fuck with him. They put him on hold. They transfer him. They escalate because they just don't want to deal with it. And that's on him. So I agree. Thank you so much for the 5, of course.
Like when you have an employee who literally is maliciously going inside of my cable modem without my permission, which is illegal, is changing the name of all my wireless networks and turning them on, which is illegal,
Right, which we never got confirmation of, by the way. We never saw any sort of proof like that this was actually happening, I don't
Resetting
think.
my modem without my permission, which is illegal. And this goes on for a period of 2 years, and we have documented evidence that it did. And
We have documented evidence, but I've never seen any sort of legitimate documentation in my entire life about this. And yes, and he didn't sue. If there was ever something to sue Comcast for, the idea that they had an actual employee with a high level of clearance going into his specific modem and changing his settings and paying using his cards preemptively when he might not have had the money, that would have been the time to sue Comcast. Your personal information was at risk. You were actually being wronged by the company in a very legitimate sense, and he did nothing about it. But if the internet is out during some sort of line upgrades for a couple of days, that's when DSP wants to get the lawyers out. That's where he's going to draw the line. How am I supposed to believe that the original Comcast attractor ever even happened when you did nothing about it but complain and beg for money?
I didn't do anything about it at that time.
Superfluous moniker saying, I thought the Comcast guy was confirmed on KF. Somebody admitted to doing it, but they brought no evidence forward. They confirmed nothing that wasn't already public information, at least as far as I saw. And that's what I was saying earlier, is he says these things. He says it was happening for 2 years, which I don't think is the case. He's just chalking up that one side-scrollers interview fuck-up that he had. He's making that somebody else's fault, obviously. But he's never presented anything concrete on this. I genuinely don't believe that it happened. I think it was a made up tragedy so that he could expunge more money. Yeah, it was me. You got me.
And
Caught me.
that person went on Kiwi Farms and posted up all the evidence that it really happened.
All of the evidence being nothing.
So I didn't even have to lift a finger because it actually is posted on Kiwi Farms right now. All the evidence that they did it.
Just
So
an
you get
admission by some random idiot online. Like, that's enough for DSP to think that it's 100%. If you admit to anything online, DSP will believe you, I guess. That's the that's the precedent that he's set.
To a point where it's like,
You could just say any random shit online, and if it comes across DSP's eyes, I guess he's inclined.
no, I'm not going to be pushed around. I understand. If the internet has to be up and down for a while, I get it. But I'm not going to go out of business. All right? I'm not. And I'm not going to sit here and freak out about it. I'm not going to be like, oh my God. What I'm going to say is, let's play it by ear. This week, let's have a normal week. Let's enjoy Kronos and Silksong. Let's enjoy
It'd be
Silent
great
Hill
bringing up the thread. No.
for 2 days. Let's have a great 3 days.
I don't know if you've ever been on Kiwi Farms, but there's a lot that I'm not going to show in there, and I'm not going to sift through it cautiously in front of everybody. I would rather not.
All right, great 3 normal days where everything is good and everything is working fine. All right?
Unless you meant the guy,
And
of
then,
course. In which case, I
let's
would recommend
see,
you also not do that.
How things go starting on Thursday. Now, I won't be here Thursday. I'm taking the day off on purpose. Let's see. If I come back on Friday and it's up and down, it sucks, but what can you do? Right? Hopefully, like I said, we can have an established time when the internet will actually be working, even if it's later. And then I can at least consistently do 1 stream a day during the time when all this is going on. I hope, fingers crossed,
hope, maybe.
right?
If they come through with that timetable that DSP is looking for, an actual timetable.
So let's see what happens. Okay? Let's figure it out together. Let's not freak out. Let's not lose our cool or our minds. Let's just play it. And you know, oh, I accidentally misclicked. I'm sorry, Muckman. I misclicked you. I did
But
not
that's
mean to do
why
that.
I'm saying, like, he's trying to
I've
sow
fixed
fear
it.
into his audience for some reason. Before we lose our minds, before we freak out. What is anybody losing from his audience other than DSP isn't on today? He streams every single day and has an endless catalog of dog shit videos you could go watch if you miss him that bad. Why are we pretending as though the audience is going to just completely cease existing without him? That's crazy. Yes, literal cult speak. You're right. APTO, or sorry, APT. Apata. Thank you, Michael AE, for the 5 Canadian. Saying, I've had my job 18 years. If I showed this level of helplessness and despair on a daily basis, they'd turn off my logins and have me checked. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. His attitude is what it is, and it's always been this way. You can see it in the old forum posts that he used to put up on SureYouCan.com or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm talking about.
Sorry about that, Muckman.
SRK forums,
Okay.
they call them.
All right. So when I have more
Thank you
information,
for
I'll
the
let you
5.
know. If I get any updates, if I hear anything, I will let you know. Okay. But in the meantime, excuse me, there's not anything I can really do. It's not in my power. I want to be here. I can't be if this is happening. I will just keep you in the loop on everything.
All right.
All right.
Sounds
And
good,
we'll work
dude.
together to figure this out.
Gonna work
Fingers
together.
crossed. All right. Cool. All right. Some shout outs because a bunch of contributions came in all at once here while I was talking. Thank you to XBTWXD over on Kick, who's dropping some kicks in the chat right now. Mr. Bun the Juice did a $2.
Now, this is a name I kept hearing this week, and I don't know if it's my own internet brain or if he's actually being trolled in this capacity. But Bun the Juice, I'm pretty sure is supposed to be him closely saying "burn the Jews," which I don't think he's supposed to be saying on the internet. I don't think that it's probably a good look for him, but he's been doing it all week a lot. This person's been coming through, and he doesn't seem to ever he doesn't ever seem to stop and caution at all.
66-cent super chat. These are difficult times. I can relate. Stay strong, Phil. Well, thank you, Mr. Bun the Juice. It's not like I'm destitute or
You hear what you hear it though? You know what I'm saying?
anything. You know what I'm saying? But dude, if I can't work for like a month, yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I got to pay bills. I got to make money, and all my money. Well, I don't say all. Most of my money is made on stream. If I can't stream, literally, that's Comcast's fault. You tell me I can't work. You're preventing me from.
You think that it says Bunda juice and Bunda means butt? I have heard that. Is that the case? Either way, shouldn't be saying it. To be honest, we should express a little more caution here.
Working because you're not going to have a way for me to have internet when you decided to do an upgrade to your network. That doesn't sound very good, does it? It sounds to me like that's a problem. So, exactly. There's nothing I can do about it right now. Let's see what happens. I mean, I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping
for
that
the best here.
this is not as bad as it sounds. I'm hoping that this actually will not be a big deal and that maybe we'll have a few days where the internet is shoddy, but for the most part, the internet will be working during this process, and I'll still be able to work for the most part.
Again, that is just confirmation that he has already completely written off that it's going to be one day. Despite the direct source telling him this, he's already bought into the narrative that it's going to be multiple days. That's already his hope, is that he'll be able to half stream because the internet's going to be up and down. That's the expectation that he's currently setting right now for his audience with his attitude, with his mentality.
I mean, look at it this way. I stream 6 days a week. If 2 or 3 days a week, the internet's up and down for one of the streams, yeah, it's going to be annoying, but it's definitely not the end of the world, right? It's not. But I don't know. And again, if I can get transparency to know exactly when the work stops, so I know, if it stops at 7 p.m., I'll do a longer night stream for this month to make my money on the late stream. I'd be okay with that. But I need to have that transparency. It can't be, we're going to fuck around and just do whatever, whenever. You can never plan around and good luck having a job. Like, no, I'm not going to allow them to do that to me. That's not going to happen.
I'm not going to allow them to do that to me. Come on, man. You're not intimidating. You're not hot shit. You are a nobody. You're an internet lolcow. Your job is to be mocked on the internet relentlessly until you give up. That is your job. Nobody takes you seriously. They don't care if you exist anymore in any real way.
So, let's see what happens. Let's play out this week. Today, tomorrow. How about this? Today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, let's have a great time together. And for goodness sake, let's get some support. All right, let's hit it.
Right into the begging.
Let's go.
Let's go. Right now. Now.
There you go. There's a few kicks hitting the floor over on Kick and some moral support. Gee, thanks, guys. All right, but for real, that's enough of the Comcast bullshit. Let's stop talking about that for today. Let's relax. All right. So,
thank you, Michael AE, for the 2. Saying he's only talking big because he knew it'd be a day. I mean, that's a possibility. But DSP talks big about literally everything. So I don't know if it's confidence in it only being a day or if he was just being his true and authentic self, as is his job, of course, as a self-employed internet content creator and the realest motherfucker on the internet, let me remind you.
Let's get some support. We got 1 sub. Let's get some more subs. Again, I have a 150 sub goal to hit by the end of Wednesday. We're at like 30 some, like 32, 34. Let's get some subs right now on Kick. I'm serious. Let's get some subs, some of you are regulars, and let's get that momentum going. All right? Let's get some super chats. Let's get some memberships. Let's get our first membership of the day on YouTube. All right? Let's get some support rolling, and then we'll jump into Chronos and have some fun. See, that's not true. That's not true at all. Vlargob, nice name, says you stopped pointing the camera at a screen when the views stopped coming in. No, I basically got stopped. I got tired of getting yelled at, is what it was.
So it works. Guys, confirmation. Yelling at DSP about things, once again, works. You tell him what to do. People on the internet, tell him what to do. He is completely subservient and beholden to everybody on the internet typing in capital letters at him. And there's nothing he can do. It is just the way that it has to be, and it has always been, apparently. So please, keep doing what you do. It does work. He is seething. He is coping. It's awesome.
Still getting views. Yes, it was true that my views were plateauing, but I was just tired of getting yelled at. Everyone yelling at me saying I'm a dinosaur. I'm not doing the modern thing.
Yes.
I said, fine. On a whim, I remember the day. John Rambo was over. We were going to do co-op, and I said, fuck this. I'm tired of getting screamed at. Let's go. And we drove right down to Best Buy, and we bought 2 capture cards, and we hooked one up. I can't remember what it was. We just hooked it up. It was this box-looking fucking thing, like this. It was a big box. Now they're all tiny, but it was like a giant box. And we plugged it in, and we fucking used it. And it worked all right, but it had issues because we didn't tweak it and didn't know anything about bitrate or anything back then. The bitrate was way too low, and it looked like ass. But people liked that. They liked that we were being interactive. We were talking with people in a chat and stuff like that, and people really liked that.
Right. But let's believe this story. I see somebody in chat saying it didn't happen like that. I'm gonna run with DSP's story here. I'm gonna believe him. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt on this one. This is just him letting everybody know that the requests that they were making, the complaints that they had about his content for a very long time, years even, the subpar quality that he was putting out was entirely fixable on a whim. It took no effort on his behalf. It was incredibly easy. It was a drastic improvement, and it cost him a little bit of money and no effort whatsoever, in accordance to the story that he has just told us. And we're supposed to respect him, and we're supposed to, feel appreciation for the changes that he's made. This is what I was saying earlier at the beginning. Nobody gets any sort of praise for showing up a decade late to doing something everybody else was doing. You're not going to get praise for finally getting around to something you should have done ages ago. But that's exactly what he wants. And he wants people to shout his name from the rooftops when he himself is explaining right here that it takes no effort and it's purely out of obstinance that he doesn't make these improvements. It's purely because he doesn't care and doesn't want to make the improvements.
One thing in particular I think I was treated particularly unfairly for, the thing is, so many people today treat me unfairly because everything that they say and do is based off of misconceptions and lies, okay? Or half-truths, all right? I just wish originally, when, This Is How You Don't Play was coming out,
right,
that I had reacted differently, because I really feel that the original reason that the internet turned against me was because...
You were obnoxious, you were loud, you were a crybaby bitch, you flooded their inbox with nothing funny to say, with obnoxious singing that nobody asked to hear. You blamed games that people liked because you were bad at them and couldn't hold yourself accountable for bad gameplay? I'm sorry. Jumping ahead.
I overreacted, which then forced the internet to spin it in a way that made me look worse than I really was. Basically, the way I saw it, when everyone was doing This Is How You Don't Play, my concern was that people were now going to go see the This Is How You Don't Play video rather than my video. And keep in mind, back then, I wasn't a live streamer that had stream income. I was relying on ad revenue and views to make a living.
But that's already an issue. If you already don't believe in your content enough, like the good version of your content, as he would see it at the time, if you already don't believe in the good version of your content enough that only showing the bad parts is going to subtract from your genuine audience to such an extent that you're going to lose out on a bunch of money and you're not going to be able to sustain your business, that means you don't believe in your fucking content and you need to make it better. You need to be a better person. You need to play the games better. You need to pay attention. You have to do something. That's what that should tell you. But of course he lashed out at This Is How You Don't Play and at Evil AJ and everybody who was making fun of him instead of just being a better content creator.
So if someone is looking at a different version of my content on someone else's channel, I'm not getting the view and I'm not getting the ad revenue. That's going to concretely hurt my business. And that's how I saw it. That's how I reacted. However, I think how people saw it was, oh, Phil just doesn't want to be made fun of. Phil thinks that he's like completely above reproach, or completely above criticism. And because of that, he's so full of himself, he doesn't deserve to succeed. He's a schlub. He's a loser. And that's the mentality that was promoted on the internet.
But because that's actually what he was saying multiple times throughout the content that he was making. He was genuinely lashing out on the internet, banning people, arguing with them in the comments over the validity of a "this is how you don't play" existing, calling everybody who wanted to see him be bad at these games fucking idiots and dunces on the internet. I'm sure I don't actually have proof he said dunce, but you know what I'm saying. He was going out of his way to behave this way, but then wants you to believe that it's purely speculation that he was insecure and upset about all of the insults. That was the reality.
People could have just seen it from my perspective that this is my livelihood and I was afraid of losing everything when I had worked my ass off to gain an internet presence. I think things would have went differently, but I didn't portray myself well at all. I was very angry. I was very obstinate. I was very aggressive.
And those were all of the traits that people hated him the most for, at least at the time.
Towards the internet, making those videos. And because I was, that's when public opinion turned against me. And that's on me.
Yeah,
you know, it is. Like, it's the whole thing of reacting to content and that kind of stuff has now become insanely huge to the point where even I've done it. You know what I'm saying?
And keep pointing out in chat that working his ass off is just pointing a camera at a screen while he plays video games. Yeah, I was going to let that slide because I've said it a million times. I don't think what he does for work now is work. I definitely don't think what he did in the past was work either. But
it's my fault that I didn't see that was going to happen and that I reacted in such a poor way that people thought, oh, look at this asshole, right? And I now I look back at it and I hear myself in old videos saying shit like that. Like, oh my God, you're a fucking thief if you're watching. This is how you don't play. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn. I mean, of course people reacted in the way that they did. But today, here's the thing. I am of the opinion.
They were justified back in the day, but here's the thing. Today, they're not. And then in, 5 or 10 years, DSP will go, okay, well, back in the day when I was doing my King Snake stream, and I go back and I listen to that, and it's totally embarrassing. People hated me for this reason, and that was justified. But now that people hate me, I'm a changed person. We're going to get the exact same segment 10 years from now if he's still kicking. So I hope you're ready for that. I hope you're marking that on your calendars.
Opinion that anyone can change, that anyone can improve. And I tried really hard to do that over the last decade. And I hope that people who knew me back then as this really pig-headed, obstinate jerk,
which he still is, this is what I'm saying,
if they were to come by today,
they would see that
see the different kind of content I put out, the different kind of streams we have, and how I listen to feedback, and
we don't listen to feedback. How many Atlas videos were made about the recommendation box, and how many of those actually got implemented? I don't have the numbers, and I'm sure neither do you, but there was at least 2 or 3 of those videos, and I think I could probably count on one hand how many times he even gave the suggestion a time of day, to be honest. So
hopefully people would see that I've changed.
I don't know why we're pretending here.
All right. But that's the thing. For a lot of people, life is black and white. If you're one way forever, and they don't want to hear that you've improved, you've changed, you've grown, you've matured. No. To them, it's like, you were that asshole back then, you're that asshole now. And I do feel that that's unfair. I think that a lot of people hear misconceptions about me on the internet based on things from the past and think that applies to the present day, and it very much does not.
It very much does. He has been the exact same person since at least 2000. How old are some of those forum posts? 2005, 2006, we'll say? As the early aughts, DSP has at least been this person. And if you listen to all of the childhood stories that he's told, the teenage stories that he tells, the college age stories that he tells, he's always been the same person. To this day, he does not change. He is incapable of it. That's why his parents don't love him. That's why all of his friends didn't want to put up with him anymore because he's such a piece of shit. That's why Leanna fucking left because he's a piece of shit and he has no friends. That's why he can't even maintain online friendship relationships like with people like Brian, with the Kino Casino, because he's a piece of shit and nobody likes him. He's the same person through and through and always will be.
Today, are you kidding me? The person I am today
couldn't
be further different from the person who I started
as
same 17 years ago. I'm like a
100%.
completely different person, changed from the ground up. I just don't even act or think the way that I did back then. All right, all right. Someone just hit me $1.50 and says, I think the pivot of people truly turning against you was when your ex waged war against your viewers. All I'm going to say is this, because that is such ancient history at this point. You know, my ex, I have not spoken with in so many years, and you know, she has her own life, and I don't want her ever getting.
She's doing better now. I seen that she was throwing shade at him on like Instagram or something the other day. She was talking about how she should have been a sugar baby when she was younger, and somebody say that didn't she kind of try that? And she was like, yeah, I guess I picked the wrong one. I believe that was an interaction that I genuinely saw.
Pulled back into this fucking vortex, right? But I'll just say this, okay? It was my choice to involve my ex in my content. It was my choice to do travel vlogs. It was my choice to make her a moderator on my streams. It was all my choice. As much as you can argue that, oh, she got into fights with your viewers, she got into fights with your fans, she said offensive stuff to people on the internet.
Right.
Fair enough. I'm not going to deny that any of that happened. But I was the one in the position of power, and I was the one that created those situations. Do you understand? So it's my fault. I take responsibility for that, 100%. It was
this weird, I can't say that word. This very odd and strange DSP holding himself accountable and trying to take a moral stance in defense of Panda Lee while never saying her name is very strange. I don't quite know what his angle is here. I don't know why we're defending Leanna right now.
Wasn't like, oh,
when he's so quick to throw her under the bus about everything else. He was very quick to tell about the medical history and the hospital experience. Very quick to blame her for jerking off on stream as if that's her fault at all ever. But her arguing with people on the internet in his comment section in his chat, he is going to take accountability for that. That seems like a weird place to draw the line.
Oh, she forced herself into stuff. No. We wanted to play games together. She wanted to watch and moderate. We wanted to do traveling together. And then she got a public persona, and she would say things. Oh my gosh, I can't believe she said that. Hey, that's on me. That's on me. 100%. You know,
Michael AE for the 2 saying accountable on a 10-year delay isn't accountable. True. You're right. It's the same thing as the fucking toilet and fixing that a decade later, or switching to direct capture a decade late. He wants some sort of good boy points for doing these things, for taking accountability for Leanna acting the way that she did 10 years later, when he was in complete denial for how long, you know?
Oh, and that's something that I live with, and I get it. But I mean, the thing is, it is so far in the past. You're talking a time period that was what, like 2013 to like 2016, 17? Dude, it's 8 years in the past. So anything today, it doesn't really apply anymore. Today, it's a whole new ball game when it comes to the shit that people say and do on the internet compared to that.
You don't just get absolved because time has passed. That's not how being absolved of your wrongdoings works. You have to like make improvements and actually make up for all of the problems you caused. You don't just get to say it was 8 years ago, so it's different now. That's not.
You know what I mean?
Applicable.
Oh, I know. Grande Dio. He says your detractors think more about your ex than you do. 100%. That never does.
Well, she was hotter than your current,
ever
so
pop into my head ever, unless they bring her up. I'm living a whole different life. You know, I'm happily married. My content's completely different from how it was back then. Like everything about my life is completely different from that time period of my life. The way
but it's not though. Like we're gonna pretend like we're not still streaming in the exact same room in the exact same house that you and your ex used to live in. You know, we're gonna pretend like everything is completely different and there's not a whatever.
I see it, there's 3 eras that I've had. The early days, that time period, and the modern time period. Those are 3 completely different eras that I've been doing content creation. And that is so long in the past. I never even think about it.
Never even think about it. Except for all of the times I have to talk about where I jerked off on stream and you inherently have to think about it because you're blaming her and you've always blamed her for jerking off on stream and that's the most relevant thing you've ever done.
Not at all. Mozzie did a $2 super chat. It's disrespectful for people to bring up the ex. Well, here's the thing. She has nothing to do with anything. You know what I'm saying? Nothing at all.
Hey.
She has nothing to do with me in the modern day. She doesn't affect anything in the modern day. She moved on and has her own life, and I respect that. I have my own life. She respects that. There's no reason to ever bring her up. It's only these obsessive freaks. You know, again, the same obsessive freaks that hunt down people from my past, family members who I don't talk to, and try to bring them into their online drama has nothing to do with anything. I'm not affected by it, and I don't have anything to do about it, right? Nothing.
But when it comes to Panda Lee, when it comes to these other people that people go out of their way to try and contact and get information from, this is a part of his legacy, whether he likes it or not. This is the content that he's put out. These are the posts that he's made. This is the information that he put on the internet for everybody to read, and it goes with his persona. This is the character of Darkside Phil. And I believe that Darkside Phil and Phil Burnell are honestly one and the same. I think they're completely inseparable, despite what he says. So, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about here, man. They're completely relevant. It's very much important and a part of the story and the lore. And if he doesn't like that, then he shouldn't have put any of that shit on the internet, and he should have been more cautious. But it is all fair game now, especially because it's all still up and accessible. That's the nature of the internet, boss man. You should have fixed it before it became a problem. Thank you, Tony G, for the 2, saying lash out instantly with Panda. PPP was razzing with Cat. Well, I mean, I think that just goes to show you how we think of Cat, that we don't stand up for her honor in any real way. But we get angry about Panda instantly. I think that should say something.
0. These people are just weird. They're fucked in the head. Okay, sorry, there was a detractor trying to sneak through my window, so I just ran up, I smashed him in the head, and he fell out the window. And I can continue my stream.
So
okay,
funny.
So,
this guy's hilarious.
What else?
Should do stand-up.
What would you guys like to talk about? We still have some time. Please tag me in either chat. Thanks for the early support. Let's get some support, notably. We're only at 25. Let's get to $50 of support right now.
That's the end of the clip. He's just gonna do the begging. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna go to the next part, which is DSP's thoughts on Silent Hill F. Now I told you guys you guys seen it. He wasn't exactly fucking with Silent Hill set in Japan. What I didn't tell you is that he was very upset about a puzzle that he couldn't solve. That seems to be a running thing in this game. He's upset about the puzzles because he's too stupid. So he decided to make an entire video, daily rap style, about his thoughts on Silent Hill F. Now, I haven't actually seen this video. I don't know what's in this video. I wanted to watch it together for the first time. This is a raw viewing. Hopefully it doesn't suck.
Hello, everyone. Darkside Phil here. I'm currently around 5 and 6 hours into the new release Silent Hill F. And I'm going to be honest with all of you. When I was getting the news that this game was coming out, I got hyped. Why? Because
he's a big baby man who's infatuated with certain IPs. And this is a stance, a realization I came to yesterday. If you guys saw the pre-stream, he was reacting to the Wolverine trailer or whatever. And it came to my conclusion. I came to a conclusion. The DSP is completely infatuated with certain IPs to a detrimental level, and it is like the complete consumer slop mentality. I already knew that about him, but it specifically came to the forefront of my mind when it came to Silent Hill and Wolverine.
Had a new Silent
That's why he got excited, because despite them making multiple bad games in a row, games that nobody particularly care for and nobody reveres in any high esteem, he still expected the studio to come through clutch and make a good game that he was going to enjoy, despite there being no evidence that was going to be the case. So,
since Silent Hill Downpour back in 2012, 13 years is a long time to wait for a brand new Silent Hill. In the meantime, I played all of the classics. I replayed some of them. I recently played Silent Hill 2 Remake last year. Absolutely amazing game. My pick for Game of the Year. And so, when Silent Hill F was being promoted and advertised, and I said, I'm going to give it a fair shot. I'm going to take it with a grain of salt that it's going to be in Japan. These devs hopefully know what they're doing, and this game will be great.
But giving it a fair shot does not mean having high expectations or riling your viewers up in a tizzy to see this game and try and get them excited. That's not a fair shot. The amount of hype that he puts on every game that he's going to play to try and get money out of them immediately disqualifies him from giving every game a fair shot. He has to have some sort of expectations that these games are going to be good, or he's lying to his audience, which isn't a great alternative, I think.
And after that, I basically stopped following along. Why? I didn't really want to be spoiled. I wanted to just be pleasantly surprised when I played the game. I had it in my schedule. I even bought the digital deluxe version of the game to play it earlier on in the week so that we could get a head start and actually get a good chunk into the game before other releases hit later on. And all along, I kept hearing good things about Silent Hill F. The reviewers seemed to say, oh my goodness, it's a great modern Silent Hill. It might even be better than some of the classics. And I was like, wow, high praise from games media. And for a survival horror game too, that's weird. But at the same time, maybe it's
We're listening to games media again. Why is this coming back? I see DSP doing this. I see people doing this on Twitter, one of the biggest cesspools I could hang out in, to be honest. But I see people legitimately posting like a game reviewer scores as if anybody gives a shit what a game reviewer has thought in the past 20 years. Why are we still pretending and giving this any sort of credence? I'm just confused. It's one of the dumbest things you could do, I think, personally.
a good sign. And so being 5 to 6 hours into Silent Hill F right now, all right, I'm able to share with you my early opinions about the game. And my opinion is thus: Silent Hill F sucks.
Yo, that's so fucking funny. Because he got on stream just yesterday and told people he was going to play more Silent Hill. And he's like, you guys say I hate the game. I don't hate the game. I have this complaint or that complaint. But he made a fucking video where he said the game sucks. Just outright, he said it sucks. That's so fucking funny. Yo, big ups, Ragnarok. Is that what that said? Yes, thank you, Ragnarok, for the sub. I really appreciate it.
I'm serious. It's actually not that good at all. I don't know what game this games media has been playing. Maybe they just don't like classic survival horror, or they don't know what makes a game a good survival horror game. Silent Hill F does not have any of the components of it. Allow me to explain. A good survival horror game needs 3 elements.
Right.
One is a good atmosphere and story. Something supernatural, something interesting going on. Maybe it's body horror, maybe it's mutations, zombies, monsters, ghosts. Who cares?
Goblins,
as long as it's
ghouls,
something that's kind of
Loch Ness.
weird and keeps you gripping and interesting and asking, what's going on? What's going to happen next? The second component is good combat. And when I say good combat, with survival horror, typically there's one constant element, the element of survival. That's why it's called survival horror. So, element of, I don't have enough resources. I need to micromanage my inventory. I need to make sure I don't overuse ammo or resources in combat. I need to make sure I don't pump too many health items out.
Is that the combat aspect of the game, or is that the inventory management of the game? Because he mentioned combat, and then he immediately started talking about a bunch of aspects of combat that are more so a different mechanic, if you ask me. You want to talk about the combat of Silent Hill or of Resident Evil? It's the clunky jankiness of the older games that really put the survival in survival horror. If you wanted to complain about the game having a lock-on system with a Bloodborne style like back dodge, I was very confused at seeing. Talk about that. But to immediately start talking about inventory management after mentioning combat seems disingenuous, I think, personally.
I need to basically ration everything I do, because you never know what challenge is around the next corner, and you don't know how hard the challenges are going to be. And then the third component.
Yeah, he completely bypassed the actual complaints of the action style combat of the game. But whatever. One testicle man for the 400 Huff saying he must be happy he didn't reach the goal then. Well, we're still fucking playing it, so I don't think that's the case.
Is puzzles. Most
But he should
survival
drop
horror
it,
games that are
realistically.
successful and good
Thank you,
have
one
great
testicle
puzzles
man.
in them. And that's the third interesting element. Find the key that opens this door that leads you to the next challenge. Do a little mini game. Oops, you messed up the mini game. Now you die. Now you got to do it over from the start. Stuff like that, right? All that stuff has always been present in survival horror games. Silent Hill F has all 3 components, and one of them is good. The atmosphere and the story have a horror element. It's interesting. It's gripping. 6 hours in, that's the one part of the game I'm very interested in. However,
like I said at the beginning, I personally am not. I wasn't given enough reason to care about the protagonist nor any of the characters that she's run into. I don't particularly personally like the dialogue nor the weird relationship style thing that they were trying to push between Shu and the other characters there. I not hashtag not my Silent Hill, not to gatekeep, but whatever.
both the combat and the puzzles stink. Allow me to explain why.
Allow me
The
to
combat
explain.
is completely transformed and changed from previous Silent Hills. There is no ammo, no guns.
Okay.
All you do is pick up melee weapons and swing away.
Right.
That's it. Now, there's some other things to it.
Does Silent Hill need guns though? Like is that a requirement for a survival horror game. I guess if you were to do the inventory management aspect of it, if that's the biggest deal to you, maintaining bullets in your inventory, sure. But I feel like that's short-sighted, a little too specific. Yeah, also, realistic to Japan. That's a great point, Lieutenant Blackbutter. I didn't even fucking think of that aspect. You're right, it's not set in America. You're not pulling the shotty out of the back of the police truck or the police car, are you?
There's 3 meters: a health meter, a sanity meter, a stamina meter. You can charge up an attack and release it for a supercharge that stuns an enemy, and then you can do a combo to finish. You
Right.
can charge up a heavy attack and hit an enemy and try to finish them. You could just mash the dodge button, which is probably what most people will do playing this game, and you can either dodge an enemy attack, or if you time it perfectly, the game slows down a little bit.
You can't just mash the dodge button. And this is why I'm convinced that DSP doesn't have any fucking idea what he's talking about. Because he's actively playing the game and understands that there's a stamina management system. You cannot just mash the dodge button. It doesn't work that way. Also, I see people pointing it out in chat. Don't your weapons break? So there's like a durability inventory management style in the game. Yes, that is a feature. You're right. Thank you for reminding me and pointing that out. That would make up for the difference in the gun style inventory management. So it's just he has to have a gun, I guess. DSP's a red-blooded American. This one time. DSP insists there be a gun somewhere.
And then you can either escape or you can wail on the enemy. And then there's even a counterattack parry where you can charge a button that, again, uses this sanity meter. And then you can see when the enemy's going to attack and, interrupt with the counterattack. And now they get stunned and you can do a combo. Now,
Right.
I want you to...
It's like a risk-reward system. You can use this finite resource for a better advantage in combat if you're dog shit at it. They're not a mechanic you have to engage with.
just think about everything I just described. Does any of that sound like Silent Hill or any survival horror game ever? It sounds like an action game. It almost sounds like an action RPG hybrid game. That's all.
Where did we get RPG from? Legitimately, where did RPG come from? What does that mean? What does DSP thinks that? What does he think that actually means? We're getting way too fucking loose with genres at this point. We need to just stop talking about them. They're completely irrelevant if we're gonna start saying that Silent Hill F is a fucking RPG. What role are you playing? Japanese schoolgirl? I guess. Where the fuck are your point allocations to better your build and change your stats? If that's not in the game, it's not a fucking RPG.
All the combat in Silent Hill F. Now, herein lies the problem. It's not engaging, it's not fun, it's
Right.
just either boring or unnecessary. I've been playing 6 hours, and I found that 9 times out of 10, literally just running by and mashing the dodge button on every single enemy is more effective than engaging any enemy. There's almost never a reason to fight an enemy. Even if they get a cheap hit on you, you can easily still run away, and the game gives you tons of items, so you can
Right.
always be healing or whatever. In fact, I'm constantly having issues having too many items in my inventory.
For the record, he is playing on easy mode. There was 2 options when presented with the difficulty, and one of them was story mode, and the other one was hard. Now, I don't know about any of you, but myself personally, as a lifelong gamer, okay, I've been playing games for almost as long as I can fucking walk. I would always pick hard. I always default to a harder option than normal, and in this case, a harder option than the easiest difficulty possible. And I don't know why he thought that was a good idea. I know it's the developer intended difficulty as he saw it, but anytime that a difficulty mentions it's like a story-based experience, that it's a story mode, if you're interested in experiencing the story with minimal challenge, you don't pick that fucking mode unless you don't want to play a game. To complain about that and act as though it's the dev's fault is crazy work. This is a self-inflicted wound that we're complaining about right now. I thank you, NWO News, for the 2 saying yandere bag. It's true. It's accurate. Thank you, NWO News.
So I basically have to dump items to pick up others, okay? Now, the game acts like an RPG. There's charms you can equip for the combat. Things like have more health, have more stamina. You don't really
That doesn't make it an RPG. That is not the hallmarks of an RPG whatsoever. That's completely fucking asinine.
need
Go
any
ahead.
of it, to be frank. And you can even upgrade, again,
Shout
through
out,
an
Frank.
RPG-like system to equip more of these charms and be even more powerful. So here's the deal. I'm playing the game on the default settings. The default settings are story level difficulty for combat, hard difficulty for puzzles. I'll be honest, I think that's too easy. I think that it should have been hard difficulty for both, because when I engage the enemies, It's almost never challenging. I've only died once ever. It's because I wasn't even trying or paying attention. And at this point, I feel like the combat is an afterthought. Now, you might say, well, it's your fault because you picked story. Well, that was the default setting in the game, and I always play on default. However,
because you're a fucking retard, bro. This is the most brain dead goddamn thing that I honestly think has ever said. This is the thing that gets under my skin probably the most about DSP, is this idea of developer intended difficulty and blaming other people because he refuses to accurately assess his ability in fucking video games. It's so obnoxious, bro. Nobody can fucking design a game that's perfectly built for everyone, and it's up to every individual to decide for themselves. And if you made the wrong decision, fuck you. Actually, fuck yourself. You're so dumb.
my viewers have told me they're playing on hard, and guess what? Here's what hard changes. The enemies hit for more damage,
Which would solve the inventory problem where he has too many health items. Go ahead.
and you take more hits to kill the enemies.
Which would solve the problem of not having to deal with the durability of the weapons and therefore make you use them, use the durability increases more, which would once again make you do more inventory management and stretch your resources farther. This is exactly what you're fucking looking for, but we're gonna sit here and pretend as though it's not. Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's it. All the enemies are in the same spots. There's not more. Everything else is identical. The only difference is what I just described. Also, there's one other difference. When you go to a save spot, you restore all of your meters, I guess, on the story difficulty. When you're on the harder difficulty, you do not restore your sanity meter.
Right.
But all that means is you can't do the special charge attack and you can't do the counter attack. But you
Right.
can still dodge.
Which are very, very good tools to have in combat situations to minimize the difficulty if you're actually good at the combat.
You can still mash. You can still run.
You cannot mash. Stop pretending like we can mash. It's not honest. It's dishonest, Steven. It's a lie. He's lying.
There's been entire enemy rooms I skipped. The only time you're actually committed to fighting an enemy is actually if it's blocking a door or if you're fighting a boss. Everything else is skippable. The combat is insanely boring, repetitive, not memorable, and a waste of your time. They could have done anything else. They could have emulated any other survival horror game, and it would have been better than the combat that they put into this game. Now, here's the other problem.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that the aspects that DSP is complaining about are obviously solved by putting it on a harder difficulty. But I don't personally like the lock-on. I don't like the dodge existing, personally. I don't think that's how survival horror works. That's why Silent Hill 2 is, I think, the chef's kiss of Silent Hill games. I don't play them games. They're too old for me, obviously. But I think that's the actual things to be complaining about. Not the self-inflicted wound that is the difficulty setting.
Puzzles. I'm playing the puzzles on hard difficulty. And some of the puzzles, admittedly, were a little tricky. But today, the straw broke the camel's back. And we're only 6 hours
I'm sorry, what was that?
difficulty. And some of the puzzles, admittedly, were a little tricky. But today, the straw broke the camel's back.
The straw broke the camel's back. Obviously. Anybody that doesn't understand is a fucking idiot.
And we're only 6 hours in.
Me included.
Today, the game gave me 2 puzzles. And I know this might be minor spoiler alert, but I need to explain to you these 2 puzzles and why they're so bad for you to understand why the puzzles in this game suck.
He's a mumbler.
One puzzle required you to know what
Right.
the actual blossom, flower, and tree of the Sakura cherry plant looked like.
Okay. It's Japanese-centric style.
Now, I generally know what it looks like because I've seen art, but I don't live in Japan. I've never
Okay.
seen a Sakura cherry tree in person. I don't know what the tree itself looks like. I know what the
Okay.
blossom looks like, maybe open, but I don't know necessarily what a branch would look like, you know. Oh, you just need to know. Because there's a puzzle box, you have to pick 3 of them, and if you pick wrong, the game says you're wrong, but doesn't say which ones you got right or wrong, so it's literally you picking out of a combination of, I think, 12 to 13 different choices, and you have to
Okay.
get the right 3 or you fail. And you don't even know you have to pick 3.
What is the setback then? That it just resets and you have to try again? This is not a difficult puzzle. I mean, there's only so many combinations, and if he's stating right now that he's familiar with one of them already, he knows that one of them is the right answer. Like, this isn't an issue. What are you fucking talking about? And all I can think of is that there was a Silent Hill puzzle. I forget if it was in 1 or 2, but it had to do with a clock. And I know a lot of people, some of them even my age, can no longer read a manual clock, which I think is incredibly dented. Learn how to read a fucking clock. But if you can't read a clock, you're just supposed to know this information. You're supposed to know what they're talking about on the clock and how it fucking works. This is so stupid. I don't know, dude. I'm not a boomer. I only use digital clocks. It's the exact same complaint, and it's just as fucking stupid. Actually just as dumb.
So you could literally sit there for 7 hours guessing and never know until you open up the internet and search.
Yes, I'm saying manual clock. It's analog. I said it a million times, and I said it wrong every single time. Shut up. Damn.
Sakura Cherry Blossom Tree, and then your answer's right
Let
there.
me be dumb
Does that sound
too,
like a fun puzzle for a
please.
video game? Here's another one, and this will be the last one I spoil, I promise.
Go ahead.
I'm not kidding you. There's
Right.
a combination lock on a locker. This is for the story. You need to open this to progress in the story, and it says, spell the word bus with numbers. How do you spell the word bus with numbers? Is there a codex? Is there a Da Vinci Code, right, thing that you decode it with and you know that the numbers correspond to letters? No. What numbers look like the letters B, U, and S? What? What kind of puzzle is that?
Well, I
What?
mean, it's pretty obvious which numbers look like a B and an S. That's entirely self-explanatory. Now I don't know what a U as a letter would look like, but I only have to figure out one thing. I'm sure I could figure it out.
By the way, name one.
And fluctuating miasma is saying that he's complaining because he didn't find all of the notes. Am I being led to believe that there are actually notes in the game that would just tell you the puzzle? Is that the is that it?
Number that looks like the letter U. I'm waiting. Would you like the solution? Spoiler. The number 6.
Oh.
Do
Okay.
you see my
You know, that would have been my first guess in all honesty. So, basically I'm the king of the world and I'm the smartest there's ever been, I guess. So that's robust.
point? The puzzles are actually terrible. Now, I just played a Silent Hill game a year ago. That was my game of the year, and it had great puzzles.
So there is a note that you can pick up that tells you about the U being a 6. That they tell you that the girls code that has all the letters to numbers listed. So he actually just is incapable of reading or checking his journal, which I did hear him say on Twitter out of context. Him saying that so basically you have to read the journal, which is cheating in order to solve the puzzles. In-game mechanics can't be cheating, but sure.
What was
Okay,
the
that
problem
makes
with
sense.
Konami when they made this game? They didn't consult anyone who knew how to make puzzles. Gee, maybe the puzzle should be specific to the game or something to do with the game or even just something you can figure out if you're smart or you're, not. You need to know what the Sakura Cherry Blossom Tree looks like. Go research it online. You need to guess what letter we think corresponds to a number, even though it looks nothing like it, just because we're stupid and this is our puzzle.
I mean, it kind of looks
Get
like
the hell
it.
out of here. Are you insane? So the puzzles suck. So the puzzles suck. The combat sucks. What is good is the story. It's gripping. It's interesting. And that's why I want to keep playing it. But
Okay.
guys, 6 hours.
And that I'm gonna stop it there for a second. I have my own personal complaint about DSP gameplay from Silent Hill, at least from what I was watching on my third monitor, and it's that every time he enters the menu in a high stakes situation where the music is high intensity, it is supposed to get you're supposed to be on edge. He's in an action sequence. He's running away from monsters. He just accesses the map, but it is completely dead silent. I hate that. It's completely jarring, and I think it takes you out of the experience person. But DSP's not going to mention a nuance like that because he would have to be familiar with video games and usually how they work, but whatever. We've got to complain about things that are actually our own problem and our own fault.
Hours in, it's rough. My audience can't even stand it. My audience is bored to tears because, again, most of it's wandering around, avoiding or fighting these boring, repetitive enemies or doing these annoying puzzles. The story is decent, but there's not enough of it. I even said to my audience, this game would have been better if they took this element out of it. Take the controller, put it down, just make this a movie or a TV series,
Oh
and
my
it's great.
God.
I would watch this as a TV show, a Japanese TV show with these teens interacting and trying to survive and all the supernatural stuff going on. Instead,
Look, I think that's a weird way to say things like that. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a fan of high school teen style stories. I don't ever find them particularly gripping nor interesting. And I think the like I said, when I was watching his gameplay, the love triangle or romance that they're trying to push through, I think is a little odd given that DSP is a 43-year-old man. I don't know that he can relate or understand anything like this anymore. So
I got to kill a million enemies
just a weird way to put it, I think, personally, for the guy.
by mashing like an
teen-style
idiot. Or I just got to
story.
run by them like an idiot. And then I got to solve awful puzzles that aren't fun. And you got to look up the solutions because the game devs were morons and didn't put anything in there that, you know, takes intelligence. It's just, you have to just know. So, yeah, it's bad. I'm shocked. I thought this game was going to be one of my Game of the Year contenders. It's actually pretty bad. I would hope that my opinion will change, but I don't know. Unless they completely redesign the game halfway through, I don't see how it's going to be any better. I just see it being more of the same. And again, I am going to play through it because I want to see the story, but for me, that's it. So Silent Hill F, huge disappointment. It actually legit sucks. I don't know what game these people are playing and what they're smoking. It's nowhere near as good as Silent Hill 2 Remake last year. It's not even as good as the other survival horror.
It's not made by the same team, and it wasn't written by the same team neither. Like, I don't want to shit on Silent Hill 2 Remake. I haven't played it, and I hear it's a half-decent remake. But they didn't write that story. They didn't come up with those characters. They didn't build that fucking world. That was built decades ago. Those people don't work there anymore. I don't think that the job that Blooper Team did on a remake of a game made like 20 years ago should have been indicative of your anticipation for a game made in the modern day by modern people. I think that was a completely asinine way to go about thinking.
Game out right now, Chronos. Guess who made Chronos? Bloober Team. Guess what game Bloober Team made? Silent Hill 2 Remake. Go play Chronos if you want classic survival horror with huge challenge and a good story. Silent Hill F ain't it. That's all I got to say, folks. I hope that made sense and that you enjoyed it. See you soon.
Right. Well, for the record, he doesn't like Chronos either, so I don't know why we're going to put that on a pedestal in this discussion, but whatever. He's been complaining about that game basically the whole time he's been fucking playing. But it is nice to hear him just outright say that he would rather watch movies than play video games at this point. I'm glad we could get an accurate assessment in that, capacity on that subject. We're not in denial anymore, pretending like we actually want to play video games. We're just outright admitting I'd rather watch a movie and have no interaction than be challenged. I think that's a strong start for the guy. You know, I think that is honest and true to himself. Truly.
Here's the deal. Let's talk about my internet. So, Comcast.
Oh, so sorry, I didn't intro this clip. This is the Comcast Aftermath. At least that's what I titled it, and it was up on screen for a second there for all my visual styles. This is Friday, the day after the one-day outage of internet on his scheduled day off. So all of that worrying about Comcast for multiple weeks on end and tearing apart his business and having to contact lawyers and being pushed around and all of that, it was all for naught. It was all a massive waste of time. It ultimately resulted in nothing other than free money for the guy, of course. So here's his explanation.
Contacted me about a week ago to tell me that they were going to be upgrading the internet infrastructure in my area. And it was such a serious endeavor that my internet was going to be down for an extended period of time, but they would tell me when. So I was curious how long this was going to last and what was going to happen.
Wait. Sorry. Because he's already fucking me up. Hang on.
To tell me that they were going to be upgrading the internet infrastructure in my area. And it was such a serious endeavor that my internet was going to be down for an extended period of time, but they would tell me when.
Now, what is an extended period of time, I guess, is the... Because if you ask me, one day is not really that long, I don't think, personally. I can go outside and experience real life, if forced to, I suppose, with no internet. But... Or is he trying to imply here that he actually expected it to be like a week or two and have issues? Because he said it himself in the other clip that we got our hopes high and that we're thinking that it's only going to be a day or whatever. You guys were here for that. You heard what he said. Just a weird way to tell.
I was curious how long this was going to last and what was going to happen. And in the meantime, I had a bunch of people contacting me saying that basically this has happened to them. This is Comcast Internet. So this is Xfinity. This is Comcast Business. It's anyone who has Comcast Internet is having these infrastructure changes this year. And I had some people telling me that this happened to them earlier in the year. All right. And that various different things had happened. One person said it took them 6 weeks to actually do it properly. That their internet would be up for several days, then down for a day, then up for days, then down for a day. Other people said, actually, for us, it wasn't as bad. It took about 2 to 3 days, and it was kind of up and down and spotty for a few days. For me, I had no idea what was going to happen. All right. So
What does that fucking mean, though? You have no idea what's gonna happen. Your internet is gonna go out, and there's nothing you can do about it, and you have to do something else in the meantime that doesn't involve the internet. That's what's gonna happen. There is no uncertainty in that aspect. I don't know why we're acting as though we were completely clueless and helpless in every capacity. That's so fucking dented, dude. Why does he always have to paint himself out to be some helpless victim in every situation, when any legitimate, responsible, mature adult would just figure out their fucking life and move on? Every single thing has to be the biggest deal to this guy. The sky is falling. I don't know what I'm gonna do, you guys.
I basically told everyone, listen, I want to do a crazy good week coming up, but I have to take this day off that I normally wouldn't have taken off. I usually don't have a Thursday off. You know, usually Saturday is my day off. But
And like, we're still setting the stage the day after the internet is back. We're still telling the story of it potentially being 6 weeks when we know that it was only one. Why are we doing this? Why are we setting this up this way? Just fucking start the stream.
they outright told me I wasn't going to have any internet. So why am I going to be trying to work when I have no internet? It makes no sense, right? So I scheduled my day off for yesterday, and here's what happened, okay? 6 in the morning, the internet went out.
Right.
I know because they texted me to tell me. They said, okay, our internet's going out right now. You know, we'll keep you in the loop and we'll let you know what happens over the course of the day. So I woke up to no internet. My wife and I said, well, what are we going to do? Well, let's go out and have a day, right?
Also, waking up to no internet implies that he was up after 6 a.m. I'm gonna gatekeep being a mature adult here. Be up before 6 a.m. That's my expectation. Sorry. I'm gatekeeping here. If you're not up before 6 a.m., fuck you.
We already have to do grocery shopping in the morning.
Sorry. It's just the way that I have to be.
I live in a private community, and the front gate was not working properly. Okay, because, you know, on a private community, the gate has like codes you use to get in, or we have like an app we can use to get in because we're all, you know, residents here. We can register with the app and we can get the gate to open and close using an app and stuff like that. And none of it.
Real. As a 4 a.m. Wake up guy myself, I understand the sentiment, but due to the prison I'm in, okay, fuck you. Jordan faded away with the 2. Thank you so much. Saying still has a black mold broken shower. Never forget. Well, how could I? We need another like 4 years to fix that. Of course, it's on the table of being fixed eventually. We just have the detractors have to yell and scream more. Of course.
Work. So basically, I contacted my condo HOA, and I said, just so you know, because this internet's down, that gate probably isn't going to work right. So I gave them the heads up, which was good because there might have been some people who had the deliveries or stuff and they wouldn't have been able to get them because the gate wouldn't have opened. So they overrode the gate basically so that we could have people coming in and out all day.
Right. They overrode the gate? You mean they had a guy pressing the button? Thank God DSP was there to let his community know that they were gonna have to do something about the gate. It was only thanks to his incredible internet style insight that he saved the entire community from this catastrophe. What a hero, I think.
And my wife and I went out and we did our usual
Yeah, he really did paint himself out as a savior there. He is the hero of the community. At least he could be a hero in that aspect. That's very cool.
stuff. Like we did grocery shopping. We went out and we got a few things. Like I said, we got a few things. A brand new. This is huge, by the way. It's like much bigger than my old thermos was. So that's good. We ended up getting some really good seafood for dinner. I got a crab cake sandwich. It was a huge crab cake with no breading. It was just crab. With lettuce and tomato and bacon and the sauce. It was amazing. Sweet potato fries and a chowder on the side. Like I got lobster chowder. Oh my God. It was a super good seafood.
Guy's eating like a fucking king. He's getting crab cakes, no crab, chowder on the side, fucking lobster. Jesus Christ, he was living it up on his day off. But before that, he was telling you that if he doesn't work for a couple of days, he's going completely insolvent and his business will go under in a matter of days. How fucking cool.
Food meal that we had for dinner. And just various stuff like that. And we came home and we relaxed for a while, which we wanted to do, you know, a little tired after a day because we were out all day. We left at like, I want to say we left around noonish and we didn't get home until almost 8 p.m. So we were out like almost the entire day, just doing stuff, all kinds of stuff. So interestingly enough, we had no internet all day, right? While we were at dinner.
If that's interesting.
Comcast texted me again and said, okay, we have complete.
You guys are asking about his gout and how the shellfish wasn't giving him a flare up. I don't know, bro. I don't ask me. I think it's just as goofy, but I don't tell him what to eat. You know,
Completed work in your neighborhood.
if he doesn't mention his gout in this capacity, I guess he's fine. He's goutless. He's healed.
Your internet should work. And, you know, if it doesn't, let us know. We obviously want to know if something has screwed up. And, you know.
Did he fuck up saying Comcast? I'll run it back. Sorry, I was yelling.
So, interestingly enough, we had no internet all day, right? While we were at dinner, Comcast texted me again and
Yes, Comcast with an X.
said, okay, we have completed work in your neighborhood. Your internet should work. And, you know, if it doesn't, let us know. We obviously want to know if something has screwed up. And, you know, FYI, we think the work is done. That doesn't necessarily mean it is. There may be more things that are going to happen.
Okay.
But for now, it's good. And we'll let you know if anything further happens, but we're done. And I was like, all right. So we came home and the internet worked. Okay.
Great.
So now, and by the way, thanks, Dark.
What a fucking nothing story, by the way, to tell us that when he woke up, the internet was out and they had texted him that he had eaten some food. And by the time that they had gotten back from the store, he had received a text message that said his internet was back, and it was. That was the whole story. That was the end of the world cataclysmic event that was happening on Thursday that he was never potentially going to recover from and needed all of the money immediately for. That was the story.
Darkside Burnell for another sub. I think they want to get on the leaderboard even though they're still banned and I'm not unbanning them. Okay. So we came home and I said, well, now that I know that it looks like I'll be able to work tomorrow, number one, let me purchase and download the game for today, you know, Sonic Racing Crossworlds. But also, let me do a test. Let's see what these amazing infrastructure improvements have done for my internet. And so I did an internet speed test, or a stability test. And come to find out, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for this? My internet speeds
Here we go.
are exactly the same. Wow. So it's funny because you guys were saying to me,
You know, it's funny.
just a couple days ago, well, Phil, does it mean when they do these internet upgrades for you, does this mean you're going to have better internet? Well, yes and no. I basically have the capability of better internet. You didn't actually think that Comcast would give you something for free, did you? You never for a moment thought that they'd be like, oh, just have better internet now, right? No, that's not how business works, especially in the United States. In the United States, the only
Well, yeah, like you guys are saying in chat, that's the speed he's paid for. That's the contract he signed on both of his fucking internet lines. Why would they just increase the speed because they redid the infrastructure? That's not how. No, he's right. That's not how it works, and it never was. Maybe his lines are maybe they are more stable. Maybe we'll never have to hear about the noise in the lines again that are making his internet go on the fritz, you guys. Maybe we'll never have to hear about that again. But to expect his speeds to change that's a wild expectation.
only thing that anyone will give you for free is a stomping of your face. That's about it. You know, they'll spit on you, but they won't actually like give you something for free. So basically what they're saying is they're improving their infrastructure for the future.
Right.
And I almost guarantee you what's now going to happen. They will contact me probably in the next few months to say, hey, guess what? We have new speeds available. What they had said is they're trying to make it so that your upload and download speed is exactly the same. Like fiber internet. Because that's how fiber internet works, is that you have equivalent upload and download speeds. Okay. So I did my
What? Is that how fiber works? That you have identical upload and downloads? Hang on. I'm gonna do this live, I guess. Let me go on Ookla. As a fiber internet enjoyer myself, we're just gonna go. I'm gonna run this while the guy talks, I suppose.
my speed test and it said 900 megabits or megabytes per second download, 45 upload. That's exactly what it was before. So I have crazy good download, just kind of okay upload capabilities. Maybe if they do, offer the new package, I would go for it. Like, let's say they do a new package and they're like a gigabyte, right? Up and download. then I mean, I'd be like, ooh, that's tempting, right?
Ooh.
That's very tempting. But what's the price going to be? Right now, my internet's very expensive.
I'm gonna be honest though, it's pretty close. Like it's 925 to 921. It is actually very close. I never seen that before.
So I'm curious, are they going to significantly
I was live
increase the price
debunked, though.
again? Right? Like, I don't know. I would hope not. I would hope that if they're going to do it, that they would try to offer at least for competitive pricing and not some insane increase to price. But I don't know. There's no way to tell.
So why are we
They
talking
haven't
about it? Like, I don't know why we're sitting here speculating about the fucking the business class packages that Comcast could potentially offer in the upcoming future, as if this is any of the audience's business nor anything they give a shit about. This is such an odd segment to do. All he had to say was that his internet was back, it wasn't that big of a deal, and we're playing games today. Let's do a fucking Q&A. This is so strange.
offered it or explained it yet. So I gotta wait, and I'm sure they'll be reaching out to me. I mean, as a gamer, obviously I want to have the best internet. If I have an internet
That's so fucking cringe.
it's a gigabyte upload download, maybe my connections will be flawless to everyone on the internet, and it'll be on their end, the lag. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, of course, right.
For the most
right.
part, I believe that's what
Because that's how the internet works. If your connection is good, it always means that it's their fault all of the time. There can never be a different issue.
it's always been anyway. There's probably been a few exceptions to that, but I think for the most part, the problem has not been my internet. It's been, other factors like netcode and shit like that. So we'll see how things go. I'll let you know if there's anything that I'm planning on upgrading. Like, it's not that I couldn't afford to do it, but the question is, does it make sense? Like, let's say, for example, they're like, oh, we'll give you the gigabyte internet, but it's double the price of what you're paying now. I'd be like, are you insane? Like, are you crazy? No, I'm not going to pay double. You're not even doubling my download speed.
You already pay for 2 fucking internet lines. You already pay double, you ignoramus. Well, we're gonna pretend like we don't right now?
Download speed now is 900. So you're only adding 100. Why would I pay double? Of course, then they could say, oh, well, we're like increasing your upload speed by 20 times or something. To which I'd say, well, shut up. Don't bring that up. Okay?
Okay.
I guess we'll see. And but hopefully everything is fine, right? And hopefully there will not be any more internet.
Captain Steam Cloud's like he's just making scenarios up to get mad at. Well, and that's what we spend a lot of our fucking time doing. That was the whole Comcast arc, this arc at least, this little drama of the week. It was just made up shit to be upset about and beg for. That was it. It was actually a giant fucking nothing burger. The real entertainment is seeing DSP throw his little bitch fits, his tantrums, and act like Billy Badass, like he's gonna get lawyers, and then looking like an absolute tool and a fool come Friday when it was actually nothing at all.
Interruptions, and we'll be good. Okay, cool. Thumbs up to that.
All right. Sounds good, dude.
So now that I know I'm here for the week, shall we talk about said week? I think we should.
All right, and that's that. That's the week, guys. That was just yesterday, and he played I was gonna say Mario Kart. He played the Sonic Racing game, and he sucked at it. And I've never seen a grown man spend more time in not first place in a child's racing game than DSP. And then he pretended like he had to learn a bunch of mechanics, even though it's just a racing game. It was very dumb and stupid, of course. But that's gonna be it for today. I think we are still on for WPIG 1651 tomorrow at 8 p.m. for Act the King, or we'll watch it. This Is How You Don't Play, or whatever the old man wants to do. You let the geriatrics pick the subject of the day. But I hope to see all of you there. I hope you all have a very safe and blessed rest of your weekend if I don't see you. Goodbye.